Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My husband's daughter, Madison, is out of control.
She's not my little girl anymore. She's basically a beast.
Her stepmother thinks she's devious.
She was trying to do everything and anything to put a wedge between us so we would get divorced.
Her mother thinks she's defiant.
I know I've made mistakes with Madison.
She wanted to get away from you.
Why can't you say, yeah, I've made mistakes too? Why can't you admit it?
Her father thinks she's a big problem.
You asked him twice if she could live with him.
It was always the wrong time.
They all want to know, what's the trouble with Madison?
How do you feel inside?
Like I don't matter to anyone.
Every single time you guys do this stuff, it just tears a part of her off. You finally tore out her heart. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. Are you ready in the booth? Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. Okay. Take a look at this sweet young girl. Cute, huh? Does she look capable of knocking down a teacher because it felt good? Getting thrown out of school for fighting, cursing out dear old dad with the worst curse words you can imagine? How about getting pregnant at 14? Well, now she's 15 and her parents are ready to snap.
My husband's daughter, Madison, is very much out of control.
I like getting to do whatever I want.
It started to go downhill with skipping school, attitude. She was just very rude.
I disrespect my mom because I don't like rules.
Madison's behavior, wow. From staying out all night to going out with her friends, defying anything that an adult will tell her.
When I was 13, my drinking started like every weekend.
Madison is defiant. She's a liar.
I disrespect my stepmom several times. I would call her a bitch. I would scream and yell in her face.
You know, you holes. We were just pieces of. She was thrilled at the fact that she had hit a teacher.
She kept getting up in my face, so I shoved her and slapped her. Felt good. Well, I liked it to get all my anger out on her.
She was bragging about the fact that she had beaten up a girl.
This girl was talking about me, so I picked up a rock and I started beating the out of her. And I didn't know how to stop. It feels really good to fight. It's like it releases all my pain.
She's not my little girl anymore. She's basically a beast.
Well, that was Madison, as you know, and joining me now is Madison's mom, Brandy, father Justin, and stepmom Sue. You guys, first off, have some real differences of opinion as to how we got here, right?
Yes, we do.
You believe she's the problem.
I believe she's partial.
You need to forget about being on television. You need to forget about the cameras. You need to tell me the truth. Because what you just said was your first major backpedal, because that's not what you told us when we were interviewing you. You said you believe she is a big part of this problem.
Absolutely. I feel over the
Okay,
years.
and when I asked you, well, you know, partially. So, I mean, you want to play games, go somewhere else. You want to deal with this child's life, let's deal with it. What do you think?
I think she is a big problem.
What has she done to create this beast, as you call it?
I think she's had so much free reign. I think she's been put aside, maybe on the back burner.
She's been able to do whatever she wanted to, because you think she's not structured enough.
Right, correct.
Okay. What do you think?
I feel that we are all to blame for Madison's behavior. Justin has not been a part of her life for 15 years, Dr. Phil. And every time that Madison got in trouble, I would call him. So I don't know how he can say that it's my fault.
How long did you two know each other when you got pregnant with Madison?
We went to school together. We went to high school. And we went out one time, and we had sex, and we ended up having Madison.
You went out one time.
One time.
Had sex one time. Had Madison. Which led you to say, well, I hope it was worth it. Because you got a lifetime of problems from that one night stand. Have you tried to distance yourself from your daughter?
I think recently I have, yes.
Because that's what she says.
Yes.
And, you know, kids say a lot of things. I just want to know what
Yes,
you say. She says that she did get pregnant And she had a miscarriage, correct?
Correct.
And she says right before her D&C, she says, you said, I shouldn't have to be here because of my daughter's stupid mistakes.
I would have to disagree. I would never say that, because if that was the case, I mean, I made the effort.
I disagree with that, Justin.
And I went and spent time
I
with her.
totally disagree with that, because our daughter was in tears before she had her D&C. And I asked her what was wrong, and she said, my dad specifically told me he should not have to be here because I made the mistake.
I only got a text message, and I was at work.
I tried calling you, Justin, and you would not answer my phone. Your mother is the one, Justin, your mother is the one who you finally answered, because you wouldn't answer your daughter's text messages all day long, or mine that day of the D&C.
You denied paternity for 2 years,
Yes,
right?
I did.
Because you didn't think it was your
Correct.
baby. That Madison was your
Yes.
child. And then you found out she was.
Correct.
Well, you were having trouble. You asked him twice if she could live with him, and
he told me no, he had to talk it over with his with her stepmother, Sue.
It was always the wrong time.
And you
When
said
is
no.
it ever going to be the right time for Madison?
Because the school. This is what I'm talking
It
about.
doesn't matter. When is it going to be the right time for Madison, Justin?
It's the schooling. And it's the schooling.
Schooling, she can move schools, Justin. She's done
I know,
it
that's
before.
why she has no grades.
She has no grades because she doesn't try.
You didn't want her to move in, correct?
Well, I will tell you, over the years, I've watched her change through the time that she came to live with us. She would arrive very troubled, out of control, defiant, with severe attitude, and I'm not quite sure why would she come with that if indeed you'd tried every parenting skill under the sun. I mean, you contacted Justin numerous times to indicate she was out of control and you couldn't handle it any longer. Am I correct?
To get some support from my daughter's mother.
Out of his way, and you chose to act like he never did. Really?
She did move
Really?
in eventually.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, January of
And
this
she
year.
says that you have a daughter, and she said you showed huge favoritism to your daughter.
Of
You know,
course
that's
she
her
would,
perception.
Of course she would say that,
Well, I'm
because
just telling
when
you what she
she
said.
came to live with us, we told her we have rules, structure, and boundaries. And she abided by that over the phone because she wanted to get away from you.
It was not over the phone.
Brandy, when she called us on January 2nd, she had it with you. And she wanted to come live with us, and she begged us on the phone. She said, you either fly me up there or I'm taking a bus somewhere. We quickly talked it over and said she needs to be with us because you couldn't handle her any longer.
No, actually,
her
she
behavior
said
wouldn't have
that
gotten this way, Brandy,
because-
if you chose to make good parenting skill decisions.
Oh, me?
Were you hard on her when she moved in?
Absolutely.
To try to shape her up?
Well, of course. Being a teacher for 21 years, it is my passion to help kids to become the best that they can be. Help them climb the ladder to success.
Your career as your elementary school teacher?
Correct.
She says you were much meaner when Justin wasn't around. That's her perception. That's what she says.
Well, I'm sure she did because
I've
when...
also heard that.
Well,
I'm not
Brandy, we
saying
heard
it's
a lot
right.
about you too, but...
I'm just telling you what she said.
Right, and the fact of the matter is when she did come to live with us, it was important for her to be able to follow the same expectations as Abby. Why would we not have the same rules and expectations? But the difference between us is she wasn't able to follow them because you never had them.
Now, according to Brandy, she and Justin were discussing reconciliation when he married you.
Prior to that, did you know
And-
that? I'm sure you didn't.
I did know that, Brandy. Thank you very much.
And
Okay.
Brandy, you were shocked to hear that he
I
was
was
getting
absolutely
married.
shocked. Madison is the one who told me that she was getting married.
And Madison had a reaction to that because she said she
She was
felt like there
also-
was a contest here and you won. So I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. Let me tell you, I'm not coming down on either side of this at this point. I'm just trying to get it all out on the table.
I understand where she's coming from on that. My thing, I've told her over and over again that, you know, I think it was better for her to understand that it just wouldn't have worked. And I knew that. I knew that it just wouldn't work. But I went into it thinking maybe there's a possibility. Maybe I should do this.
Okay, and y'all understand, you do need to understand one thing about my position in all of this, and that is that I believe that children are born, but then we as adults start writing on the slate of who they are. We got to realize, because oftentimes people in our generation talk about the younger generation as though we have nothing to do with it. And we have everything to do with it. We'll be right back.
She came from sex, alcohol, drugs, and gangs when she was living with you.
Why can't you say, yeah, I've made mistakes too? Why can't you admit it?
Brandy, I have made mistakes.
I'm trying to get the facts out here because I'm going to be honest with you. I frankly don't give a damn about y'all's feelings.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
You're not interested in a relationship. Your goal is sex.
Yeah, correct. I'm getting pretty close to my triple digits.
How do you stop 3 ladies' men
I've had sex quite a bit, and I'm still not a father.
from taking stupid risks?
The guys were ready to party with attractive women and lots of cash. These players are about to be played.
The second I walked in that room, I was thinking, what the hell did I get myself into?
Then on Friday,
Steve Harvey!
to understand men,
You think men are trainable?
Yes, you've come a long way.
you've got to know what they think.
The biggest mistake women have all the time is
That's Friday.
Brandy has no control over Madison.
My mom won't discipline me.
I don't think Brandy has a clue what's going on in Madison's life.
I would want to tell my dad that he treats me like a dog and not his daughter.
Justin had gotten remarried, and the woman that he had married had a daughter, and he has a better bond with that child than he does with his own child.
I'm torn.
Sue likes to tell me that I'm an ungrateful little bitch a lot.
Madison and I, it's oil and water.
My dad has told me that he's going to pick Sue over me.
I want to know what I did wrong. Why am I being punished?
Did I hear right when I was listening to that tape piece that Sue put you in a position that you had to make a choice?
I would say yes. It's torn. I was torn because it was like I wanted a relationship with my daughter, and I wanted my marriage to work because, I mean, I want it to be the perfect family.
Did you put him in a position where he had to choose between you and your daughter or his daughter?
Well, Maddie might perceive it like that because when she would
Well, he
come...
perceives it like
well,
that.
and that too. But we've talked about it a lot. But when she would come to visit us, she wanted just completely daddy time. She didn't want the family unit. She wanted just daddy. She was trying to do everything and anything to put a wedge between us so we would get divorced and she could have him, just totally him by himself. So that would in turn...
Can you blame her? She's never had...
Who are you talking to?
Oh, because she was glaring at me.
I'm sorry?
was
Oh, you were
glaring.
talking to her. I asked you the question.
Okay.
And I just like to look people in the eye when I'm talking to them. I can go stand over there. Would that be a yes? I'm trying to get the facts out here because I'm going to be honest with you. I frankly don't give a damn about y'all's feelings, to tell you the truth. And I don't think you want me to. I ask you, did you tell him you're either going to choose that daughter or you're going to choose us? And that's what he said happened. That's what she said happened. I asked you, and you gave an essay to somebody.
Oh, I was talking to Brandy.
Okay, but is that where you came down?
Yes, but there's
Okay.
facts behind that.
I don't care about that.
Okay.
No, I could make your argument better than you could, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
But the truth is, the answer is yes. And you feel like she is so disruptive and so disrespectful, and you, unlike him, are unwilling to throw your daughter under the bus.
There was a lot of baggage. I mean, she came from sex, alcohol, drugs, and gangs when she was living with you. We were in hopes of trying to turn her around. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew it wouldn't happen overnight. But every single time that she's come to visit us since I've been in the picture, she's done everything in her power to put a wedge between all of us.
But you said to him, because you've got a daughter that is a delightful young woman from what I understand. And she's a good student and a good kid. And you thought, whoa, now we're bringing in a really bad influence here.
Well, there were a lot of factors in... Abby's always wanted a sibling. When Maddie came to live with us, we wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt and roll out the red carpet.
Didn't work out.
Well, because she didn't want to take responsibility.
I'm not asking why, it just didn't work out. I'm just trying to get I'm only going to get my
Absolutely.
dance card right here. And then, so you did make a choice. And you chose not your daughter.
At the time, yes.
Yeah. And in fact, you wanted to terminate your parental rights.
I wouldn't say it was, because I understand that I can't. But I'm not saying, in the heat of the moment, yes, I had said it, yes.
So you did say that?
Yes.
You said that to Madison?
Yes, I did.
Do you think that's a reasonable position to take?
No, it's not at the no.
I hear all this. I don't ask myself why she is the way she is. I asked myself, why not? I mean, I really do. This is a precious little girl. How cute is she? And people look at this and they say, well, Justin, how could you want to terminate your parental rights with this child? You say, well, she grew up, right? I put this together. I want you to see it visually, because this is how I look at this. Every single time you say something like, I want to terminate my parental rights, it just tears a part of her off. It just leaves a big gaping hole. Every time you do the things that leave her exposed and let her do some of this wild running around, there's no boundary. It tears apart a part of who she is. You say to her, you're not welcome here. Your daddy, you did lose. I won. It tears a part of her away. And then she said it well. You finally tore out her heart. You finally tore out her heart. That's how I think about this. When I see parents putting a child in the middle of all of this. Because this child right here, she's in there. But she's gotten lost. Do you agree she's lost?
Absolutely.
Do you agree she's lost?
Absolutely.
That's why I wrote the show.
Do you think you're contributing to that loss?
Oh, yes, I do.
Do you think you're contributing to that loss? Have you made mistakes in parenting this child?
I'm sure I've made lots of mistakes in parenting her, but I've never given up on her. Never told her the hurtful things.
Dr. Phil, can you ask Brandy how many times she shipped her off to her own mother's house in Arizona because she couldn't handle her? Then she called Justin numerous times, begging us pretty much to take her.
Well, you know what? I believe that 80% of all questions are statements in disguise, so I don't think that was an information gathering effort on your part. I think you're saying to me, and what's more, she says she never gave up on her, but she shipped her off to her grandmother time and time and time again because she's had enough. And she's tried to ship her over to you time and time again because she's had enough. But yet she sits here in her self-righteous piousness saying, I never gave up on her like they did. And you challenge that, true?
Well, we're going off information that Maddie told us.
Well, let's just call a spade, okay? I mean, let me just say it. I'm trying to get you all to be honest with your positions here. Now, next, the big fight between Justin and his daughter that has caused them not to speak for the last 6 months. We'll be right back.
I said, Justin, you need to go talk to her and get the cell phone.
He tried to get it out from my hand and I wouldn't let go.
She had a death grip on the cell phone. I pried each finger off.
He grabbed my hand and he was twisting it all the way around.
Could be a possibility that I was grabbing her wrist at the time.
Okay, while Madison was living under Justin and Sue's roof, father and daughter fought over Madison's cell phone. Now, the cops were called, and Madison ended up in an ambulance. Take a look.
Madison forced my hand because there was an incident of her missing a bunch of classes. I told her that there's consequences because you're skipping school.
I said, Justin, you need to go talk to her and get the cell phone.
So I had to get her where it hurt, and it was instant tears, getting mad, kicking the wall.
And he tried to get it out from my hand and I wouldn't let go.
She was pinned underneath the lower bunk up against the wall in tears, screaming to give her another chance. So I grabbed her by both legs, drug her towards the edge of the bed where I could reach her. She had a death grip on the cell phone. And I physically pried each finger off.
He grabbed me by my hand and he was twisting it all the way around until I fell on the floor. And my wrist made a popping noise.
Moments later, she was heading out the front door.
My dad told me that if I left, then he was going to call the police on me as a runaway.
And she said, that's fine, go ahead and do it.
I walked from my dad's house to my grandma's.
Well, 45 minutes passed, and I figured I'll call the local police department and report her as a runaway.
When I got to my grandma's, my wrist was hurting really bad.
I was talking to an officer on the phone, and he says, your daughter is en route by ambulance to the hospital.
My wrist was swollen. We called the police.
She had allegations that she was beat up by me, and I'm totally in shock. You know, the first thing is my job.
I was at the hospital, and they said it was really badly sprained.
I did physically grab her arm. There could be a possibility that I was grabbing her wrist at the time. The police officer stated there was no visible signs of bruising. There was no break. He told me that I was in no means over the limit of custodial abuse.
The doctor gave Madison a wrist brace, and she milked it for all it was worth. And in a later period of the day, she had her wrist brace off and just flinging it around and doing whatever. She wanted to get Justin in trouble.
I was thinking she is capable of anything to get what she wants.
Well, Madison and her father haven't seen each other since this fight. Madison is going to join us now. That's a long walk with a lot of people out here, so let me do part of it with you. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Well, what's your hope in being here today?
To at least fix some of these problems that I have with my dad.
Well, what's the problem? What do you think's going on? Do you love your dad?
Yeah.
Do you think he loves you?
No.
You don't think he does? Tell me why you think that.
It's good.
It's okay, Winnie.
I don't think he loves me because he treats me like when I was living with him, he would put me and treat me worse than he would treat his stepdaughter. He would put her before he would put me. I couldn't do anything because of my past.
And how do you interpret all of that? I mean, you say you think he doesn't love you. Do you think he ever did?
At a point, yeah, I do.
And what happened?
I moved to Arizona. He got married, started his own family with Sue.
And how do you get along with Sue?
I don't.
Why not?
To me, she's two-faced. Like, when she's in front of my dad, she's a totally different person with me.
Well, I want you to watch something for me here, and then we'll talk some more.
When my dad got married to Sue, it broke my heart. I didn't want him there for her and Abby when he wasn't there for me. It breaks my heart that my dad wasn't there when I was growing up. And it kills me that my dad would do that because I'm his only child. But I guess that doesn't matter, right? My dad wants me to do family things. Family time, but I don't feel like I'm part of the family. Or I felt like I was not part of my mom's or my dad's family. That's when things started getting bad with me. I started chilling with people that would always be in trouble, do drugs, and have sex. Even though they did these things, I felt like I had a family. I never talk about this because I don't know how to say it or how people would take the truth. When I found that letter, I was angry. Maddie has a high tendency to hold a pity party. She's written many letters before that I discovered. They were extremely hurtful. Once again, in a letter, it was the slam-gram of how much she hated me.
You felt attacked by this letter.
Absolutely.
And I guess everybody looks at everything from their own point of view. But I read that entire 8-page letter, and I certainly did not come away from that thinking, boy, she's out to get Sue. That's not what, so maybe that helped, but that was not my feeling. I heard it as a pretty articulate plea for help. How do you feel inside?
Broken. Like I don't matter to anyone.
Do you think you matter to me right now?
Yes.
Why?
Because you take the time to sit here and listen to what I have to say.
How does that feel?
It feels really good.
Just to be heard?
Yeah, just to let somebody hear how I really feel.
Well, Madison was 14 years old when she got pregnant and miscarried. her plans for the near future may shock you. We're going to talk about that next.
I got pregnant at 14 and a half.
It felt like she had drove a dagger through my heart.
I do believe it was a godsend that Maddie had a miscarriage.
Madison says that having a baby is still something that she's interested in. Take a look at this.
My boyfriend, he's 17 and he happens to live right behind my house. We've tried to have a baby and this month I'll find out if I'm pregnant or not. I think I'm pregnant because I've been having unprotected sex with my boyfriend and I've been having symptoms of pregnancy. It was planned, I guess. Like we wanted to. He wants a baby and I want a baby. So I guess it just happened. I feel that having a baby would help change some of the choices that I make. I think if I did have a baby, then my life would be a lot better. I think I would push myself to do better in school so my kid could have a good life. I would stop going to parties, stop drinking. I would start listening to my mom more. Having a baby would prove to my dad that I can do it even though he puts me down saying I cannot do anything. I want to have a baby so that I can have something that is going to love me no matter what. Surprise, Mom.
In fact, you say that you're having sex every day now in an effort to get pregnant.
Yes.
And in fact, you think you're pregnant.
Yes.
You think you may be.
Yes.
Well, before the show, Madison took a pregnancy test, and Nurse Sharon is here. Tell me what you want the answer to be.
I think it's no, but I'm hoping for yes.
Oh, baby.
Sharon?
The urine pregnancy test was negative.
Dr. Phil, where's the parental control?
I'm sorry?
Where's the parental control on Brandy's house since Maddie's living with?
Well,
Wait, when you had your daughter, when you were Madison's age, you weren't having sex and you weren't partying either?
No, I wasn't.
We all make mistakes. I know I've made mistakes with Madison. Why can't you say, yeah, I've made mistakes too? Why can't you admit
Brandy,
it?
I have made
You
mistakes.
have not once admitted you have made a mistake. But I have.
This is not my mom's mistake. My mom does not know that I was having sex. I did not tell my mom.
yeah, sorry to out you like that because I know she didn't know that. But while we're on the subject, why don't you tell us how to fix that? Do you have a suggestion?
Well, my suggestion, the reason I wrote Dr. Phil was because I felt like you were her last thread of hope.
Well, that's your one good answer. You picked the right thing because I'm certainly getting ready to give her a lot of guidance. You can believe me on that. Now, here's what's happening, okay? You three may feel like I'm throwing you under the bus here, and I see this as y'all diving under the bus with what you've been doing. In your defense, and I think you need one. You know, seriously, I think you need one. You're in the toughest spot you could possibly be as a step parent of a teen daughter. You're in a no-win situation here. I mean, really, you have no authority. You're in a tough spot. You're not making the best of it, but you're in a tough spot. And I recognize that. I'm just being fair to everybody here. And the problem is, I don't mean to be condescending to you here, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. You're not in the best position to be making these decisions. And you also have a lot of anger, which you said. And as a result, trying to cope with that pain and that anguish, Madison has turned to cutting herself.
I started cutting myself when my stepdad got into his motorcycle accident 3 years ago. I stopped for a long time until I lost the baby, and then I started back up again. There was a razor blade, there was my arm. I just tried it, and it relaxed me. I cut myself when I'm sad, when I'm having problems with my boyfriend, or when I'm having problems with my mom or my dad. Sometimes I use a razor blade and I'll take a lead pencil and I'll sharpen the end of it. I have scars on my arm, but the major ones are on my leg. You can see the scars right in here. It's a love. The last time I cut myself was about a week ago. My dad told me that he wants to give up all his rights to me. So I decided to cut myself.
It works for the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I got to ask you something. You didn't know she was having sex all the time. You didn't know that she was cut. What do you know?
I know she's very troubled, and she needs help, and I need help in guiding her in the right direction.
You got to dial in here.
Yeah.
I would like to speak to Madison alone without y'all here. May I have your permission to do so?
Yes.
Madison and I are going to have a heart-to-heart when we come back.
I don't have a place to call my own. I don't have a room at my dad's house. I have a room at my mom's house, but I'm not allowed to make it like my room. I can't put stuff that makes me me, like pictures of my favorite soccer team or posters. I hate the room here.
Well, we're back, and I'm with Madison, and I've sent all the adults in her life away. It's just you and me. And I want you to know that there is at least one person in this world right now, at this moment in time, that is 100% focused on you. How desperate do you feel in your life right now?
Very. I feel that I'm willing to do anything to get my dad's attention. Because having my dad would be like having my best friend back. Me and my dad used to be really close when I was little, until he got married, and then I was pushed to the side.
What do you want from your father that you don't get?
I want him to be my dad, not be the dad in certain areas that he wants to be a dad.
If I help him to know how to do that again, are you open to doing that?
Yes.
You have to understand, you have to be part of this too. Because you're doing some things right now that are not okay with me. And I'm like a rash. I just don't go away. Okay? Getting pregnant is not an option. Now, hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. You don't have the right to get pregnant. It's not fair for a baby to be born with a job. And if you had a baby right now, that baby would be born with a job, right?
Yes.
That baby would be born with a job of making you feel good. Babies that are born with a job don't know they got a job, so they don't do their job. They become a job. See, babies are, little babies, you know, they're cute and adorable, but the truth is they're selfish and power-seeking. They cry when they want something. They demand it, and they demand it a lot. So if you bring a child into this world right now to make you feel better, it's at the expense of that child. That child will pay for that for the rest of their lives. What you need to do, he said in his most preachy voice, what you need to do is get yourself straightened out and at peace with yourself. And then when you find someone that you love and that is dedicated and devoted to you, and you make the right plans and you all decide to start a family, then that's when you decide to have a family. Okay? Now, maybe your father hadn't been around to tell you this, but I'm here and I'm telling you right now. It's not fair for you to have a baby. You do not want to do that. You want to stop having unprotected sex. I'd rather you stop having sex, but I would most certainly rather you have protected sex. Because I've seen your boyfriend, and he didn't look to me that he was a whole lot older than you. I got the feeling he is older. But he didn't seem to me to have a lot of traction in his life. And maybe that's because his pants were baggy and he was just kind of walking along. But I'm guessing he's not in a big management track somewhere.
No.
So his ability to provide for you and to provide for a baby and all of those things is probably about like yours, which is not at all. So it's not fair for you to have a baby. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
What do you hear me saying?
Not to have a baby. I'm not ready. I'm not.
Do you think I'm right?
Yes.
All right. You're also cutting yourself.
It's not something that I want to do, cut myself. It just happens. Like, I know I do it and I know it's wrong, but it relieves me.
I want to take away the need to do it. Because if you don't need to do it, you wouldn't do it. You don't just do it because, you know, hey, just think I will.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. You're spinning out of control right now, aren't you? Yeah. Not this moment, but I mean in your life. You're spinning out of control.
Yes.
I want you to hear something. It is not too late for you to create the life that you want, need, and deserve. You are young, intelligent, you're very well spoken, you're absolutely gorgeous. You have so many things that are going for you. The adults in your life are not behaving well. I want to make an offer to you. There is a beautiful ranch that's a school, and it's called Turnabout Ranch, and they offer therapy for things like cutting and where you can get some different coping skills. They will close the gap on your school for you so you get back where you need to be in your school. And it's a chance for you to do something for you. Now, while you're there, I want to create some serious work with your mother, your father, and your stepmother. They need more work in getting this family right than you do. So, I don't want you around them right now. I want you, and I can't send the three of them away. Is that something you would be willing to do?
Yes.
Now, Patty, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am. Hi, Dr. Phil.
Hi, Patty. This is Patty Evans. She's the Chief Marketing Officer and Senior VP of Business Development for the Aspen Education Group. And Patty, what do you want to say to Madison?
Madison, hi. I have listened to this, and this is a great opportunity. It's an opportunity to create change, to really put you in a group of people where you can feel like you're loved, you can belong, where you can really start to see how relationships are formed. I think this is a great gift from Dr. Phil, and I hope that you will have the courage to say yes and follow through with it. We're here to help you.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil, a husband's twisted obsession.
Once he gets that urge in his head, he has to fulfill it.
He's telling you he's out of control.
His secret life.
I'm not trying to say you're an evil person, but you are a sick person.
Is destroying their family.
Why are you still with him?
Secrets gone wrong.
You have to protect yourself and your daughter.
Find out the secret Monday.
Okay, y'all have been back there while I talked to Madison, and I have no doubt that the three of you right now are thinking, well, if she would behave like that, at home, then we wouldn't have this problem, right? You think she's putting her best foot forward here, and I have no doubt that she is. But I do want to give her a chance to go somewhere that is highly structured, very helpful, academically focused, therapeutically enhanced, to get a chance to unravel some of these issues that are going on with her right now, because I think y'all are in over your heads with her. And do you agree with my recommendation?
Absolutely.
Do you agree with it?
Absolutely.
Justin? You support this as well? While she's gone, I want to do some very intensive work. I want to make some resources available to all of you adults. We'll do some things to be ready to reintegrate her back into things. Nurse Sharon, thank you. She is from Westside Pregnancy Clinic in Los Angeles. And a special thanks, of course, to Patty Evans that we work with from the Aspen Education Group. They are top-notch, and you're going to love this. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
The man with all the answers is here, Steve Harvey.
We're talking relationships.
Is the sizzle gone?
Oh, everything's gone.
From a guy's point of view.
So many women have a misunderstanding of how men are.
Questions women ask.
You think men are trainable?
He's not trainable.
I'm trainable, don't you think?
Yes, you've come a long way.
The feelings men hide.
I moved in with her. I needed a place to stay.
Is she the one?
So far.
This is the best guest you've ever had. He works part-time, he loves video games, and if you nag at him, he just drives away.
What are men thinking? The surprising answers begin right now.
The biggest mistake women have all the time is...
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. Are you ready in the booth? Let's do it. If you are a woman dying to know what men really think, I have got a special guest that's going to tell you how it is, even more than I say how it is. Comedian Steve Harvey is back, and he's got all the man answers to your questions. Now, most recently, he's been making us laugh as the host of Family Feud. Take a look at this.
Name something that gets passed around. Chris.
A joint.
A joint? I like this question here. Name a household chore you'd love to see your wife do in the nude.
Mop the kitchen. You got a mop.
Name a kind of crack.
Crackhead.
Name something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Rob.
Naked grandma.
Naked, huh?
I don't see that either. All right, please welcome comedian, radio, TV host, and author of Straight Talk, No Chasers, Steve Harvey.
Good.
How are you? You're looking sharp today.
Thank you.
We were up late last night.
Oh, you can say, we can say that?
We could say that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a dinner at Dr. Phil's house last night. I don't call him Dr. Phil anymore. I call him Philly. Got a new nickname. I saw him at his house. Really, probably shouldn't say this. One of the nicer homes I've been in. I can tell you that right there. I'm gonna have to get me a doctorate degree because you're making cash.
I'm sorry I brought it up now.
Your wife did a beautiful job, though, man.
Well,
Robin
she
really
loves her home. Your wife is lovely. She's here. Marjorie's here today.
She controls my every move, so.
Yeah, we're going to hear from her later, so I'd be careful what you say.
You got me last time I was on the show. I wanted to tell you I didn't appreciate that, too, buddy.
Yeah.
You just had your way with me last time. It's okay. I might get you back a little bit today.
Yeah, well, you might. But hey, listen, I gotta bring up something that, because Robin and I are so often targeted in the tabloids, and you got a turn these last couple of weeks. I don't know if y'all saw it, but you know, you had an ex-wife that started saying a bunch of things about you that just absolutely simply were not true. She was saying that you left her penniless and destitute. You kept your mouth shut. You took the high road. And then a judge lifted the gag order and kind of blew the whistle on her. And when the court documents were opened up, you gave her 3 houses. You only had 3 houses, right?
Just every house I had.
You gave her all the houses you had.
I was homeless. Yeah. She had some great lawyers because I paid for them. They were outstanding.
Yeah. I can't tell you how impressed and proud I was in the way you handled all of that.
You know, I still have a mission as a father. You know, I have 3 sons. I've always taught my sons to be respectful of their mother. And I can't let my sons see me say something disparaging or disrespectful publicly about their mom. On the internet, you're allowed to say anything you want to say. And we were fortunate enough in that we had the resources and the ways to get the truth out.
They're even now attacking my dog. It's not enough about me. They're attacking my dog. You know Maggie the dog.
Yeah, I met Maggie while we were eating.
That's Maggie all grown up. I was really proud of the way you handled everything, and I hope you put that behind you and move on. And I am proud of your new book. Now, you're kind of getting in my lane here. I marked a few questions that I had in the book here that we want to go over. But this is his new book, Straight Talk, No Chaser.
All I do is give women, you know, a peek inside the gentleman's club, a peek inside the locker room, a peek inside what we talk about with each other. I just let women really understand how we are, because so many women have just a misunderstanding of how men are. You keep thinking we're like you, and if your man was like you, y'all couldn't even make it, not for a day, you know.
And there is not one thing in here that's politically correct. There's not one. There's not one thing in here that you wrote because somebody expected you to, but what I like about it is you don't present yourself as an expert. What you say is, I'm going to be your friend at the factory. I'm going to tell you what men really think, what they really talk about.
Men are wired different, so this is how we look at the deal. I don't care if you don't like, he doesn't talk to me the way I talk to him. He can't. He can't. He's a guy. Who wants to be married to a guy just... You're so, you know, Phil, you know, honey, hey, man, what are you doing?
You don't want to roll over in the morning and look at you, right? You don't want to roll over and be married to somebody that looks like you, thinks like you, talks like you, smells like you. All right, we're going to answer some questions today. Our first guest is a young, beautiful model and actress who says she cannot find a good man that's ready to commit. Take a look.
Dr. Phil and Steve, I'd really like to find a nice guy to settle down with, but I have a history of bad dating decisions. My most recent relationship came to a crashing halt when I found that he was not only married, but had 4 kids. I grew up in a very conservative religious household where I was highly encouraged to marry the first guy I was with. That ended abruptly 2 years later when my unemployed, confused husband suggested that we have an open marriage. My relationship before that was very committed. He said he loved me, but when I mentioned the M-word, he ran for the hills and married the first girl he saw. So, Dr. Phil and Steve, how can I tell if a man is decent and really ready to commit? Not just saying what he thinks I want to hear.
Okay, so obviously, beautiful girl, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was just
saying. Thank you.
What do you think's wrong? What's your theory?
Men just look at me as a conquest. Like, once they catch me, then they don't want me anymore.
And they're like, okay, on to the next.
Can I say this to you? We don't care about what your visions and dreams are and hopes for tomorrow. We walk up to you because we see something across the room that we want. Now, we got to go over here and figure out what it's going to take to get. What I think might be happening to you is you get to a point with a guy, and even when a guy gets you, you let your standards go. Once you let a guy get away with not doing what he did in the beginning, we're going to take advantage of that. You got to keep your standards up here.
And how do I do that?
They're your standards. They're yours. You don't have to get off of that. You know, we got to have you. You understand that part?
Yeah.
Phil don't do well without her. I don't do well without her.
You've got to look and say what it was that you have to own. And maybe it's that you picked poorly, that you just didn't have a high enough standard when you picked, or when you got in the relationship, you let them take you for granted and get too easy. If you do that autopsy on your last relationship, then you say, okay, I now have a to-do list of what I'm going to do in the future. I'm going to do this differently in the future. I'm going to keep this guy guessing every step of the way. He's not ever going to take me for granted. And seriously, you're just not playing your cards right.
Guys respond to two things: pain and consequences. Those are the two things that gets a guy's attention: pain and consequences. If a guy has no fear of anything happening to him, I'm going to get out of this unscathed and cool, I'm going to do it. If there are no consequences behind my actions, fine, I'm going to do it. A guy operates on those two things. Now, I don't know what you call that at the school, but I'm just telling you how my buddies are.
But you got to play where you're not desperate. You don't come across as like, I need a guy, because you don't need a guy. You're fine without a guy, but you want a guy. But you really can't give them the opportunity to think, I'm in control here every step of the way. Well, all right, next, what Steve Harvey says is the biggest mistake women make when trying to get men to do anything. We'll be right back.
I feel like I have to nag Anton all the time to do something.
You spend all your time playing video games.
You're not going to win this conversation.
A daughter's secret.
Nobody knew the truth.
And a mother's suspicion.
When you found this picture on the cell phone.
And I was in shock.
A mother is not expecting to find something like that.
I started digging by myself. I retrieved a box out of the ground, and that's when I saw... Sorry.
One of the most shocking confessions.
I'm so desperate to see if what I was looking at was real. And it was.
Ever revealed on Dr. Phil.
40 police officers, a crime scene unit at my house.
Secrets gone wrong.
I felt my life was over at that point.
Find out the secret Monday.
Well, we're talking about what men really think, and I'm talking about it with my good friend and comedian and author Steve Harvey. Now, his latest book is Straight Talk, No Chaser.
The biggest mistake women have all the time is they find out the information too late. You find out he's married too late. You find out something's wrong with him. He's really not working. He's really not a committed type guy. You can get this figured out in 90 days if you give yourself a chance, but once you commit yourself physically to a guy, you become emotionally involved and you try to force to make it work because I slept with the guy. And you end up dragging yourself through the mud with a relationship that you really need to get rid of.
All right, but we did a poll about that. To really understand a man's intentions, Steve says women need to hold on to sex for 90 days. So we asked you if you thought it was reasonable to ask a man you're dating to wait 90 days before having sex, and here are the results. 84% of you said yes, it is reasonable to wait 90 days. 16% said no. What do you think about that?
You know, I got a lot of flack from that chapter. That's the most flack I got. Women could not understand that. But I'm figuring like this. Look, if you're looking for a lifetime commitment, what's 90 days? You know, you're trying to have something real. Now, if you just want to have a fling, then knock yourself out. Most guys, we don't want to take home to our mothers the loosey-goosey babe. We're not taking you down off a pole in a strip club and taking you to our mama's house. That ain't what we looking for, man.
All right, that's your point of view. Now, I want all of you men to go to drphil.com and tell me whether you would stick around for 90 days before having sex, okay? So go to the poll. I want to hear from the men. Would you wait 90 days? All right, next, Jennifer says that she's tired of constantly nagging her boyfriend to get him to do anything. Take a look.
Jen, you gotta see this. You got, oh.
You know, in the bathroom now?
It looks fine.
My boyfriend and I are having a lot of communication issues.
The dishes are still there.
They're not. They're actually done by me. Anton and I have been together for about almost 2 years. We just recently moved in together. I feel like I have to nag Anton all the time to do something.
That's how I spend his time, playing video games. Infinite boost, infinite boost.
My avatar is sad.
Anton and I bicker a lot about doing household chores.
He slept until 7:30.
Yeah, that's what people do, Jen. People sleep.
You spend all your time playing video games.
You're not going to win this conversation. The house is usually a mess, and when it does get clean, it's because we choose to clean it together.
So can you clean something now?
What do you mean clean something?
I do almost all the housework while Anton's playing video games for like 3 to 5 hours, and it just gets really frustrating.
No, I do not spend too much time playing video games. Come on. How can you spend too much time having fun? Oh, I'm serious.
Okay, Jen, what do you want? What do you want from him?
I want more help from him.
I mean, is he the one?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, is he the one?
I feel like he might be.
This is who you're going to grow old with?
Hope so. I don't want to be jumping from guy to guy.
Yeah. Is she the one?
So far, yeah. we have
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. You know why we're distancing ourselves? We're distancing ourselves because the women are getting ready to storm the stage. Okay, but no, seriously, your question is why can't you get him to do anything? How can you get him to do more? I'm going to answer the questions in reverse order. How can you get him to do more? You can't. And why can't you? He's 19. He is a child.
20.
You've turned 20 when?
June 7th. I'm a Gemini.
So you are...
Hey, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I'm a Gemini. I got this.
You'll be 21 in June.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have a...
I love this guy.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I'm a part-time sales associate.
Do you work a lot?
I'm part-time.
And do you play a lot of video games?
I enjoy video games, yes.
Are you good at it?
Most of the time.
Yeah. What are you playing here? You've got a steering wheel of some sort?
Yeah, that's the Wii. We just got that, so I'm still in the beginner stages. I mean, as you can see, I don't really have a good turning radius, but I can drive a car fine.
And having a good turning radius on Wii is important to a relationship. Are you worried about him being able to contribute and provide and, like, pay bills and buy a house and take care of babies and things that happen when people stay together and get married?
Yeah, I'm definitely a little worried, but...
You're a little worried about that?
Still young.
So, male point of view here, Mr. Harvey.
I mean, look, I got a chapter in the book called Dating by the Ages and what women should expect from men in their different periods, and this guy's not letting me down.
Yeah.
If you read the book, I describe men in the 20s this is my guy. I couldn't have picked a better guy. I mean, this guy's living the life. He works part-time. He loves video games. He cleans occasionally. I mean, he doesn't, and if you nag at him, he doesn't care. He just drives away on the Wii game. This is great, but for you who wants more, you're expecting more from this guy, and he's not there yet. You know, I describe in the book how I try to tell women that when you're ready to settle down with a guy has got to capture three things: who he is, what he does, and how much he's gonna make. Those three things drive us. Who we are, what we do, and how much we make. This is unclear in any category.
We're right back.
Tuesday on an all-new Dr. Phil. Her boyfriend is jealous of her best friend.
I don't believe that I'm crossing any boundaries.
Commit to this relationship or get out of it. But you don't go play footsie with this guy.
That's Tuesday.
Did you go to school?
Yes, I did.
Did you go to high school?
Yes, I did.
Did you graduate?
Yes, I did.
Are you going to college?
I'm taking the semester off.
You can do what you want.
Did you decide to take the semester off when you got the Wii game for Christmas?
Yeah.
So how many semesters have you gone to college?
I've gone to college for 3 semesters.
Did you pass?
No.
Did you do your homework? And
No.
No, you didn't do that. So you just...
Needless to say, I fell in love. She has most of the characteristics and the drive that I wish I could have. I moved in with her. I needed a place to stay. But I do love her.
You can't make this stuff up.
This is the best guess you've ever had.
Are you at all concerned that this could turn into a parent-child relationship?
A little bit. I mean, I feel like I'm cleaning all the time. I feel like moms clean all the time. I don't want to feel like a mom.
Jen says they bicker about household chores, who does what and who does more, right?
Yeah.
And you do more.
I feel like I do more.
Do you think she does?
We do exactly the same.
Do you think this is going to turn into a marriage?
Currently, yes.
Do you have a job?
Yes.
Full-time?
Yep. He just got a second job. He just got himself
Well, that's
a second
good.
job.
So you have a second job?
Yes. I try not to, but I'm a slacker.
We have 2 jobs.
Yeah. I mean, is this where I expected myself to be? No. But I'm happy with her. And
Yeah.
I'm happy where we are. I'm happy for her, most of all. I mean, she's got a great career ahead of her, great future, and I hope to be part of it.
Why do you say you're a slacker?
I mean, look at her. I feel like I'm just not enough.
Well, maybe you should, like, man up and become what you think she deserves. Because you obviously, no, seriously, you obviously are very intelligent, and you obviously have a great personality. So it's just a matter of deciding that you just want to step up and be a full partner in the relationship, right?
I pay half the rent, I do half the chores, I do half of everything, and she has a lot of you do this statements.
It's really not equal. There are some things specific to manhood. There's just some things that come with this package. Women usually pick guys because they fill up voids and needs that they can't do. So if you're just doing the same thing, that's not going to work. You just got to do more. You got to, like Dr. Phil said, you got to man up, man. You got to go get off the grind. You got to get on the hop, man. You got to start making it happen. Y'all, y'all ain't going to make it like this.
Yeah, you're awful young. Y'all need to keep it light, roll with it, and see what happens, because neither one of you are ready yet to be thinking about something long term.
Marjorie and I, we have a 20-year-old son. He's in college right now.
And
this is him.
Yeah.
This is him. And if a girl came to the house talking about, I'm going to move in with Steve Jr., I would go, hey, look, little girl, I don't know who your parents are, but go talk to him, because he's my son. And as much as I love him and think we've done a bang-up job of raising him, this ain't what you want right now.
Yeah, if y'all's son looks like him, he ain't your son. Okay. Well, right next, why one man says he never listens to his wife. Did I read that right? All right, we're back.
Donna asked me to be a better listener, but I noticed that she's not the one listening.
And rip the carpet out.
When she's going after me, sounds like a poor little cat with its tail stuck in the door. Blah, 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 blah.
We've been talking about what men really think with comedian and author Steve Harvey. Now, his latest book is Straight Talk, No Chaser. And what I love about this book is you're just giving the man's point of view.
Men think predominantly the same way on most subjects.
Yeah.
We just are that way because it's in our DNA.
Well, you think men are trainable?
Yeah, we are to the level that we can be trained.
Well, now, I'm trainable. I think I'm trainable.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes, yes. You've come a long way, honey. A long way.
You like that? That's a nice shot there.
Yeah.
Right after Valentine's Day.
Yeah, right after Valentine's Day.
Way to keep it going, Philly.
Now, Donna says her husband, Rudy, still won't listen to her after years of marriage. Maybe he's not trainable. Take a look.
We're going to refloor the bedroom.
My wife, Donna, peppers me with questions and doesn't even let me answer the first one when she peppers me with 5 or 6 other questions.
I would like to see Rudy doing more listening.
Donna asked me to be a better listener, but I noticed that she's not the one listening. Donna expects me to fix everything around here. Fix the cars, fix our relationship, fix everything.
The greenhouse ready.
When she's gone after me, sounds like a poor little cat with its tail stuck in a door. Blah, 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 blah. That's humor there now. Donna used to love my sense of humor, and now, no.
You were hearing us talk about are men trainable. Do you have him in training?
Not at all.
He doesn't.
No, he's not trainable.
He is not trainable.
No.
What's the biggest disconnect?
I think if we have a problem that arises in the marriage, which everybody does, I want to sit down and talk about it, fix it, come to a compromise, and move on.
And he doesn't?
No.
Okay, what does DJN stand for?
Demanding, judgmental, and needy.
Demanding, judgmental, and needy. And that's how you refer to her, DJN.
Jokingly, yes.
Jokingly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jokingly.
She's not laughing.
No, I know.
She's not laughing.
No.
So, Steve, what do you say to that? I mean, because, help me out here.
I have a chapter in the book called The Real N-Word, and it's nagging. And I want to tell you what makes men think you're nagging. It's 2 T's. It's tone and it's timing. You know, you want a guy to do what you want to do when you tell him to do it, and that may not even fit into his scheme of what's happening right now. And then the tone. You know, if you're talking to the guy like he's a kid, you know, we're going to shut you out, man. We're just going to block it out because of your tone and your timing, and now you're nagging and we don't hear you. And then when you got something real to bring to the guy, he don't hear that either.
So what do you think about what he's saying?
I like it.
Yeah, I had a feeling you would. What's the man cave?
The man cave is where I do a lot of fishing pole repairs, and it's my sanctuary. It's one of my sanctuaries.
Yeah, and you like to be in there by yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay, we've got a little tape of the man cave.
I have 2 man caves, and my man caves are my sanctuary. One man cave is the cave that you see right here, right now. All the things that I love to do. And my second man cave is in the garage. I have fishing gear, tools, and antiques. When I'm in my man cave and my wife comes in, I'm like a bobcat being backed into a corner. I'll come out and I'll let you know that this is not appropriate.
What can she do? Give her something, you know, not a criticism, but something with a verb in it that she can do that would cause you to engage more.
Come in and say to me, you know, honey, when you get a good time to come and help me, would you do that, please? And that just simply that, instead of demanding.
Yeah. If Robin came and said, hey, I really need you to come get this off the shelf for me or get it down, something like that, my thinking is she usually doesn't come get me till she needs it. You want it when you want it, right?
That's right. That's right. And it's very important. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. And so I need it. And if you don't come, then fine. I'll do it myself. And if I break something or drop it, then I'm sorry. I'll have to replace it.
And they break something and drop it on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when you hear the door slam, and that's when you know, okay, she wanted this right now.
We don't think and feel the way you think and feel. So if your currency is for us to connect at the same wavelength that you're on, that this to you is like a really big deal, and this was a message, this had a meaning, this had a gravity.
Yes.
And to us, it's like, not really, that wasn't what was intended. It's hard to connect on that wavelength.
I understand, because we can take an evening where we can just have a rip-roaring, hollering fight. We get up the next morning, and he hands me my coffee and says, here's your coffee, dear.
You go to bed, you're upset. But in the morning, what a guy thinks is, okay, we've had a full night's sleep. This should be over. I'm going to bring some coffee. Here's my peace offering. I still love you. Sorry about the argument. Yeah, that doesn't work for you at all. In a guy's mind, though, we've been to bed. This has got to be over. 8 hours, I'm knocked out. New day, new start. Let's go. That's how we look at it, man.
So that cup of coffee is an olive branch, isn't it? This is a peace offering.
Not necessarily. It's something I do every day. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Aren't you trying to be... Aren't you trying to be nice?
Of course I am.
Something that would help, seriously, is if you could say, at the end of it, if you have something that you need, it would be helpful if you would say that.
Okay.
I need something that would help me. Something I would need is A, B, or C.
Okay.
There are times I've gotten in trouble and I still don't know what I did. You know, I don't. Sometimes I do. I get it. I know that I'm in trouble, but I don't know what it was.
That's not true.
What?
That is so not true.
What is not true about that?
I'm very, very clear. You hear me. You're just playing dumb.
I do. No, sometimes we don't know, right?
No, we really don't.
Because you don't want to hurt her feelings, do you?
Not at all.
So if you knew what she needed, if you knew what was important to her, if you knew what her currency was, you would make efforts to try and fit that need, would you not?
Of course.
All right. Next, Steve Harvey's Bible on how to please a woman. We're consulting our wives on this one. We'll be right back. Well, comedian and author Steve Harvey has written the 10 Commandments of Pleasing a Woman in his latest book, Straight Talk, No Chaser. Now, we're bringing in the experts for this one. Steve's wife, Marjorie, and my wife, you all know, Robin. So say hello. What do you mean by commandments?
I took a lighthearted approach, but thou shalt give her free time. True. Thou shalt remember the small things, you know.
Tell us a little about him.
Watch out.
What's a small thing? What's a small romantic thing he does?
I'm gonna be over in your house in a minute. Just let you know.
Well, he knows that I love flowers, not leaving his plate on the table and food everywhere. And it's like, okay, sweetheart, just rake it in the trash. The trash is right there.
Oh, so you brought that up on TV? See, because that's the thing I don't really care to do. You know, excuse me, I'm not trying to act like a big baller or nothing, but excuse me, housekeeper?
Does he eat like a wolf or something? Why is there food all around? All right, number 3, you say thou shalt consistently find new ways to say, I love you.
Run her bath water for her. You know, she loves taking a bath. Just run the bath water.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You know,
Do you run Robin's bath water?
No, I don't run her bath water. I mean, you gotta
run your wife's bath water.
I don't.
This is crazy, man. Why we up in here on your show? You don't even run your wife's bath water. This is embarrassing.
Number 4, thou shalt chip in. I chip in.
Tell me
You don't run the bath water.
No, you don't chip in.
Number 5, thou shalt help with the kids.
Those are all our kids, you know, and I do everything. I'm there for my kids. I do everything. You don't do anything.
You don't know what I do. I do too.
Okay, name something.
Right here. I do all kinds of things with the kids. I'm constantly on the phone with Jordan and working with him on.
He's always there for the kids.
On
to
his
help
music?
me with the kids, no. But he's always there for the children. Now, I will say he helps me with our granddaughter. He's so sweet. I can say, hold Avery while I run and get a bottle. Or hold him. Oh, she's so cute. So he's getting better even now with the grandchild.
Well, she's more comfortable with me now.
Yeah, she is. She loves him.
Because used to, I'd pick her up, she'd go like that. And now she just climbs like a spider monkey. And here's the next one. Thou shalt embrace the art of foreplay.
Now, that's why we're really on the show now, see?
Now we're talking.
Because I consider myself a surgeon. Oh. You know, I'm always finding ways to make it, you know, ready time. See, I stay ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't need nothing. If you come in the bathroom and go, I'm good to go.
I've said women need a reason, men need a place.
That's true.
Thou shalt respect her schedule. Yeah, does he respect your schedule?
He does.
She doesn't respect mine. She just books stuff. You'll buy tickets to a play like a musical. I hate musicals. I hate them. I don't want to sit there and I'm watching what's happening and all of a sudden this dude just bust out singing. And I'm just sitting there going, and you don't even know the song. And I hate it. And so she books that kind of stuff and I have to go.
Foreplay.
That's foreplay.
See?
They're going to plays.
Yeah, that's the reason. You just need a place, remember?
Number 8, thou shalt send her roses just because. Number 9, thou shalt remember the golden rule. And number 10 is huge. Thou shalt always take her side.
Don't ever side with someone else against your wife. I don't care what she does. You can never side with someone else. And you got to remember the golden rule, and the golden rule is you can be happy or you can be right. That's your choice in marriage.
We'll be right back.
Dr. Phil and Steve, after 25 years of marriage, after the children are gone, the humdrum existence of everyday life, how do couples keep the sex hot? Could they seriously spice it up in the bedroom? It seems impossible after so many years. Please help.
All right, well, that was one of just many questions we received after polling our audience to find out what they were having trouble with. The man with all the answers is here, Steve Harvey. He's just saying, look, I'm your friend at the factory. I'm going to tell you what guys really think, because nobody else will tell them, right?
No.
Nobody else will tell them because it's not very flattering sometimes.
Right.
All right, Suzanne and Mark, that was your question, right?
Yes.
About keeping it going in the marriage. Is the sizzle gone?
Oh, everything's gone.
Sorry to hear it, Mark. No, why aren't you after her? Why aren't you seducing her?
Well, I'd like to be able to go to the sleep at the same time. We're on different schedules. She's a night owl and I work, but you know what? You're right. I just need to.
Thank you.
Dr. Phil,
Thank you.
You're right. I just need to seduce this woman.
I don't think he finds me attractive anymore, and that hurts me. And you know what I mean? Like that, for women...
Do you find her attractive?
Absolutely.
Thank
Look
you.
at her.
Thank you. Okay. You know, so often people start being mothers and fathers and they stop being friends and lovers. You can't do that. You've got to decide you are going to seduce this woman. We've been married 34 years, right?
Yes, 34 years, almost 35.
And she's a hot tamale.
She's cute. Foreplay, again, foreplay.
No, you just have to decide you do it. You behave your way to success. And it's like I've said, whether it's basketball, baseball, golf, or sex, practice, practice, practice.
That's true. We're going to get some practice in.
Yeah, all right. So give her a kiss so we at least know you mean it. All right. What do you think about what I'm saying?
I mean, you're exactly right, but it's the guy. The guy's got to make a move, man. You got to make a move here. You got to get yourself some baby oil. You got to get it. I mean, get to and just start squirting and rubbing and I'm washing.
Yeah. That feels good.
It's not just him. It's her, too.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
seduce him and keep him interested. I mean, Philip just turned 60 years old, and I surprised him with a music video, which I thought was very creative and very sweet of me. So, yeah, I mean, come on, you always have to be thinking.
Whoa, video.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Dr. Phil and them got a sex tape out. All right. Oh, that's hot. I see you, boy.
Stop the cameras.
She did do a music video, and it was hot. All right, we got to take a break, and we're going to finish up here. Now, a couple of things. You're going to be able to see Steve perform live at Radio City Music Hall on March 12th, right? You're going to be there March 12th. That's pretty good.
I'm there.
Radio City Music Hall. Now, Steve and Kirk Franklin kick off their joint comedy gospel tour in Atlanta on March 19th. And Steve Harvey's gala at Cipriana's in New York is on April 4th. Now, who are you honoring this year?
Honoring the CEO of Ford Motor Company, Alan Mullally. We're honoring Tyler Perry and Chris and Malak Rock, Chris Rock and his wife. They do a lot of great philanthropic work, so it'll be a great event, you know.
We're going to have all of these dates as well as information on the Steve Harvey Foundation at drphil.com, so you can find everything we just mentioned right there. We'll be right back. I want to thank all of my guests for being here today. Thanks for all the questions. Steve, Marjorie, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate that. And everyone in the audience is going home with a copy of Steve Harvey's latest book. Great talk, no chaser. Now, if you want to send me your comments, email me at drphil.com or visit my blog, Turning Point, at blog.drphil.com, or you can send me a tweet on Twitter. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. She's in a great relationship with her coworker, but that's not okay with her boyfriend.
Have you lied to him about where you were when you were with Josh?
Yes. Josh does have more than friends feelings for me. However, he's not going to pursue that.
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
For the first time,
I don't believe that I'm crossing any boundaries.
the two men meet.
You either need to commit to this relationship or get out of it. But you don't go play footsie with this guy.
Plus,
I'm obsessively controlling, and I feel like there's a touch of insanity.
I was in a 12-year relationship before Tommy and I got together. I can't even bring up my ex's name, because if I say his name, I get...
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth?
Take
Let's do it.
Go, Dr.
Ricky considers him her best friend, confidant, and someone to just turn to in good times and bad. But she isn't describing her relationship with her boyfriend and the father of her 3-month-old daughter, but rather her relationship with her co-worker, Josh. There's a new phenomenon called the work spouse, a person of the opposite sex that you work closely with 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Now think about that. You can be spending more time with that person than with your significant other. The relationship can be tricky because there's a blurry line between co-worker and too cozy. Now, has Ricky's relationship with Josh crossed this line and become part of this new phenomenon? Well, boyfriend Aaron, he sure thinks so.
Aaron is super jealous about my relationship with Josh. You haven't taken the time to get to know him.
I don't want to get to know him.
Josh and I don't have those kind of feelings.
Ricky and Josh talk every day, constantly, by phone, texting, or outside of the workplace. It makes me upset and angry.
Aaron definitely thinks that there is something going on with Josh and I, and there clearly isn't. Josh and I have a relationship that Aaron and I don't have, and I know that that's sad.
One time, Ricky was supposed to be at her sister's helping her sister move, and she ended up at a basketball game with Josh.
I know that if I were to tell him the truth, he's going to either get upset or he's going to, lash out. It's not worth it.
That makes me feel like it's a competition between Josh and I.
I don't want to have to give up my friendship with Josh, but it's seriously tearing me apart.
How am I supposed to trust you when you lie to me? How's that trust?
I'm not asking you to trust me, because whether or not I am an adult and I can do whatever I want, okay? It's an everyday battle. It's exhausting.
My biggest fear is that she'll leave me for Josh, and Josh will take over my family.
If Aaron continues with this jealous behavior, it's gonna kill me to have to walk away.
Does he have a right to be concerned here?
I think as, the father of my child, yes, he does have the right to be concerned, but we've been together for 2 years. There has to be some type of trust.
Why aren't y'all married? You fight like you're married.
I know. It's come about. He did ask me to marry him when we had Aubrey, and I said no, because if you were to go through a day with us, we can't go a day without fighting, and it just gets worse as you get married, as from what I've heard.
Well, the paperwork's not going to change whether you fight or whether you don't. And what do you think's going on here? Is she crossing the line? Is she over-involved with this guy?
I believe so. I've been lied to about where she's been. She's hanging out with him behind my back, not being honest about it.
Are you forcing her to lie to you by overreacting to innocent interactions?
Absolutely.
I don't believe so, but she feels otherwise.
Absolutely.
But there's more going on to the picture than what's being seen.
Okay, what's going on that's not being seen? Let's get it on the table.
Okay. Josh, it's been, he co-signed for our apartment. I was lied to for 4 months about that.
And with that, I should not have had to go outside of our relationship. You are the father of my child. You are my boyfriend. We've been together 2 years. If I have to go outside of our relationship and you cannot provide for me, me as myself, I have to provide.
Okay, but if my credit isn't good enough to co-sign, that's not my fault.
I don't understand why you are still going on about this. I did what I had to do. I put a roof over your head. And I don't mean to make you sound like a bad person, Aaron. I did what I had to do.
Okay, but why lie for 4 months? And that's one issue.
Because what you're talking about is you've got this relationship with this coworker, right?
Josh, correct.
Josh. And Josh co-signed for your apartment so you would qualify and be able to get it. You didn't know that.
No.
So you're living in an apartment that he is on the lease for with your significant other.
Yeah.
And that bothers you.
Yeah, very much so.
Why is Josh doing this for you?
Because I didn't want to have to go to my parents. I'm one to say 6 months pregnant at the time. I did not want them to think that Aaron could not provide for me. I'm 23 years old. I should not have to depend on my parents.
Are you living with the wrong person?
Aaron?
Yes.
No.
Should you be living with Josh?
No, but it's been brought up.
By who?
Aaron and I have gotten into some altercations that have escalated. If I were to need a place to stay while I was going to a new place, Josh gave me that option. He has a spare bedroom.
Okay, you mentioned that she's lied to you about where she is and what she's doing. And I said, if you forced her to do that, I was just curious what your opinion was. You said no, you said yes.
Yes.
But now, look, you have a committed relationship here. Are you committed to him, or are you kind of iffy?
As of right now, it's very iffy.
It's very iffy.
Very iffy.
Okay. Have you lied to him about where you were when, in fact, you were with Josh somewhere?
Yes.
You said you were going to your sister's house to help her move?
Yes.
And you went to a basketball game?
Yes, and it was not just Josh and I. There were other coworkers there. And the only reason I did that was because whenever I say I want to go do something, he has this controlling issue where he will up and leave, and it'll be me and my daughter.
Have you been to his house with just the two of you?
Yes.
And played video games and beer pong and that sort of thing?
Yes.
So I mean, I'm sorry, but that sounds to me a whole lot like a date.
I didn't even know about that.
Well, you know it now. I mean, you're going to learn a whole lot while you're here.
I think so.
His main thing is that it is a male. A male. If it was one of my female friends, he would have no problem. He'd be like, go ahead and go off and do that. But since it is a male, and it's it's a male, not just Josh, any male, mostly Josh, but it's no, absolutely not. If it was a female, which I think is sexist, by the way.
Well, it may be sexist, but I hardly think one of your female girlfriends is going to be trying to get next to you and get you into bed or get a relationship advanced. Do you think that this guy that's spending all this time with you has no designs on you beyond just, hey, buddy?
I know that Josh does have more than friends feelings for me. However, he knows that I have a relationship with Aaron. We have a daughter together. I have Aaron's child, so he's not going to pursue that.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. Thank
you. There are some rules that you need to have when you have co-worker relationships. And one is you don't share personal information with them. You have boundaries and you respect that. Okay, if you have an opposite sex person, you don't go talk to them about your marriage troubles. That's crossing a line. You don't share marriage information. You don't share personal information. You don't go with them alone off-site to places like their house to drink and play video games. You don't have alcohol involved. Look, you may not like this, but those are things that lead to problems. I'm just telling you, they lead to problems.
Would it be different if it was a girl?
Yes.
Wait, why is that? Why is it that I can...
Didn't we go over that a few minutes ago?
I understand that, but if we've made that I want to say commitment to not be like that, I don't understand why there's
You've made the commitment to not be like that.
I'm pretty sure Josh has too. That's what he told me.
Oh, well, problem solved. I got to cover something else here before we go further.
Yes, sir.
You get upset and you get intense about this.
Very.
Have you put your hands on this woman in anger?
Yes.
That's wrong.
It is.
That's wrong. I don't care what she does or what she doesn't do. You have no right to put your hands on this or any other woman in anger ever.
I understand that.
I don't care what the circumstance is. I think you're being really sensitive here. I think you're being kind of paranoid about certain aspects, but yet you do have some things here that are crossing the line that you do have a legitimate complaint about.
There's no trust anymore in our relationship.
No, well, there's not. Okay, now, look, Aaron says that he's never met co-worker Josh. He's going to have that opportunity today because I'm going to ask him to join us here. We'll be right back.
Aaron wants me out of Ricky's life very badly, even to the point of issuing death threats.
Aaron thinks that Josh and I have this secret relationship going on, which we don't.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. They look like the perfect couple, but looks,
once you get behind closed doors, it's pure hell.
You're just nasty. You're just disgusting.
Can be deceiving.
You have done nothing but lie and cheat on me?
You cheated on Mandy twice.
Yes.
And you are offended that she won't be sexually intimate with you.
When she fixes that, I'll fix me.
Plus, the most shocking admission of all.
Most recent girl, Mandy doesn't know about yet.
That's tomorrow.
When Aaron gets his hands on my devices, he tells me, and it brings up fights. I have to erase my history on my computer. I've had to delete my text messages. I've had to go as far as changing the names in my phone from guys' names to girl names.
I found out that Ricky had Josh's number saved under a girl's name, Ashley. If there is nothing going on with Ricky and Josh, why is his number saved under Ashley and not under Josh?
Well, there's a phenomenon today in the current economy called the work spouse. And we're talking about people that you spend as much or more time than you might with your husband, wife, or significant other. Is that dangerous? We're adults, right? We can have opposite sex friends. Of course we can. But there is a decorum, there is a protocol, there have to be boundaries when you do that sort of thing. Now, Ricky and her work spouse, Josh, insist that their friendship is purely platonic. But is it really for both of them? Let's see what Josh has to say.
Ricky and I are very good friends. We share everything together. When there are any issues with Erin, she does come to me looking for advice or just a different perspective.
I cannot talk to Erin about that openly and freely. As with Josh, he understands where I'm coming from, and he does not judge me on things. He is my best friend.
When Ricky and I spend time together, it's mostly just friends hanging out. Sometimes it's just watching TV, watching a movie.
I don't, go on dates with Josh. I don't get dressed up to go out with Josh. There's definitely a distinction whenever I hang out with Josh versus Erin. Erin definitely does not understand that.
Deep down, I do have feelings for Ricky, but I'm not acting on them because she is in a relationship.
I did tell Erin about Josh having feelings towards me. I figured I would just get it out in the open. I think it's fueled his fire towards Josh more.
Erin wants me out of Ricky's life very badly, even to the point of issuing death threats, basically demanding that I leave him and his family alone.
Erin thinks that Josh and I have this secret relationship going on, which we don't. Erin has so much hatred for Josh.
I don't think it's just me that he wants out of her life. He wants everyone that she can turn to out of her life.
Okay, Josh, welcome. You've been watching the show, right?
Yes, sir.
Backstage?
Yes.
I've been talking about boundaries and definitions. Are you crossing any of those?
I don't believe that I'm crossing any boundaries other than friends.
Is there anything you want to say to him?
I don't appreciate the way you treat Ricky. I hear a lot coming from her. I've felt the death threats come from you ever since pretty much me and Ricky met. I don't like the controlling attitude. I mean, you guys should be able to trust each other. You guys do have a child together. I understand that you're a good father. I understand that you guys have to be together as far as Aubrey is concerned. However, that does not mean you're a best match for Ricky. I'm not saying that I'm the best match. I'm not even going there. All I'm saying is you can be a great father, but you treat Ricky horribly.
And you know that how?
Which part?
That he treats her badly.
One, I've heard him screaming at her when she's on the phone with me. I've heard many stories from her where he shoved her off the bed, left bruises.
Okay, so you're going and talking to him about Erin.
Correct.
And confiding in him about your personal relationship with
Erin.
With Erin, your significant other, the father of your child. Do you think that's crossing a boundary with a coworker?
No, because in the year and a half that Josh and I have known each other, Josh is my best friend. If Josh was a girl, I think it would be fine. But since he is a male, I guess it's not. And I don't see why that is.
Okay.
I don't see where it's any of Josh's business to know what's going on between Ricky and I. I mean, it's none of his business. He has no reason to be in a relationship at the same time.
Yet it's okay for you.
I would think a man would want to step back and knowing this is bigger than just me. Like, it's affecting my whole family, the family that we're trying to build together. And I think as a man, you'd want to step back and say, look, okay, evidently something's going wrong here. Maybe I need to step out of the picture for a while, see if you guys can heal what's broken, and then maybe, I can come back into the picture.
Except I have stepped back many times. There have been months that have gone by where Ricky and I have not talked, and you pick a new target. You've picked her family, you've picked other coworkers, you pick other people in general in order to keep pushing people out of her life, to keep that hold on her. So the only person she has to turn to is you.
What business is that of yours? No, seriously.
I have a question.
Ricky and I are co-workers. That is true. However, because of our work setup, we actually are more friends than true co-workers.
You have feelings for her, you admit, that go beyond being a friend, but you say you don't act on them because
I respect her and respect her choice to be in a relationship.
You do act on them because you have a relationship with her that goes beyond just being a friend. You have a relationship where you feel protective of her. You have a relationship where she confides in you. You advise her. You give her information. You offered to go to parenting classes with her when she was pregnant.
And I say that.
True? True. She comes to your house and y'all drink and play video games, just the two of you together?
Not usually, just the two of us.
Not usually. I don't care how usually or unusually. I'll guarantee you, I've been married 34 years. My wife has never been at somebody else's house drinking and playing video games with another guy. I mean, did I wake up in the Twilight Zone or something? Am I just too old to understand y'all?
No. I have a question. If you say that I'm not supposed to hang out with Josh as much, who am I supposed to talk to? I mean, there are certain things I cannot talk to him about because he gets jealous and he yells at me. So whenever I need to get away so I
What are
don't...
your girlfriends about then? I mean, ain't that what girlfriends are for? And you girls talk about?
I have no doubt. Seriously, I said you're like a paranoid that really does have somebody after you, because you are apparently very threatened here. You are apparently very insecure. I don't know how 3 people could be involved, all with a point of view, and not one of you be anywhere near correct. Let me just call roll here, okay? Let me just call roll. Let me start with you. You are overpossessive, you are insecure, you are jealous, and you are chasing her away. You are headed for an affair with him. Let me just call roll here, okay? Let me just call roll. Let me start with you. You are overpossessive, you are insecure, you are jealous, and you are chasing her away. If you are putting your hands on her in anger, that is wrong. You can't do that. You couldn't make more mistakes if they were assigned to you. You cannot do this. Do you have legitimate reasons to object? No question about it. You absolutely have legitimate reasons to be objecting to what's going on here. But your reaction to it, and in fact your contribution to it, is undeniable. You, somehow or another, you have just suspended common sense. You have just suspended common sense. You're saying, you're in a committed relationship with the father of your child. If you don't want in that relationship, get out, but you don't go play footsie with this guy. You are headed for an affair with him. In my opinion, you're having an emotional affair with him now, okay? To me, intimacy is certainly not limited to sexual interaction. To me, intimacy is when you share your innermost realities with another person. You confide in them. They know you to the core of who you are. That is something that is appropriate between a husband and a wife, a man and a woman that are committed and significant others. If you are turning to him to do this instead of him to do this, then the relationship is fractured. You are crossing boundaries in that way. If you cannot do that with him, then you either need to repair this relationship or exit this relationship. But you will not fix it by having a surrogate and a substitute here.
I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to repair it.
We'll talk about that in a minute. You're getting where you don't belong. You have said that you have feelings for her. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you have feelings for people. I get that. But she is in a relationship here, and you are creating serious conflict in this relationship by being over-involved with her. You're going on dates with her, right?
I wouldn't consider them dates, no.
Well, then one of us...
hanging out as friends, with a group of coworkers, I could understand if her and I had gone off by ourselves, got our own seats, completely alone, that I would consider a date, yes.
Okay.
But when we were with a group of other friends, all coworkers, all friends, their families, that's not a date.
That's great camouflage, but it is what it is. And you didn't have these coworkers over at your house when you had her over.
Yes, I did.
Yes, we did.
Well, okay. Guys, we'll be right back.
Josh co-signed for her apartment.
Ricky didn't have the established credit in order to get the place by herself, so she did ask me to co-sign for it. When Aaron found out, he was not happy.
Right now, if I need help, Aaron won't say something like, oh, why don't you go have Josh help you? Or Josh this or Josh that.
I think Aaron took that as an insult to his manhood. My intent was to help out a friend in need.
Aaron says Ricky should confide her fears, doubts, and dreams in him and not her work spouse, Josh. And I'm calling it work spouse because that kind of defines this relationship people have with folks they spend a lot of time with. Now, you know, to me, you two are headed for an affair. I mean, I think you're already having an emotional affair, but I think you're headed for more than that if you continue down this path. If that's okay with you, then you need to end this relationship here.
I don't understand why I cannot be friends with Josh and I cannot confide in Josh when my family is so far away. If there's like for instance, where I need to get away, so we do not get in a physical altercation, where am I supposed to go? My car?
You tell me you get in a conflict with him, and so you get in your car and go to him. Are you going to tell me with a straight face that that doesn't sound inappropriate to you? That you have a conflict with your significant other and you get in your car and flee to this guy? Are you telling me that you think that that would be okay?
He's my best friend, yes.
And you also know that he has feelings for you that go beyond friendship.
Which he has kept hidden for a very long time.
But they're not hidden now, are they?
No, they're not.
And you know that?
Yes.
So you have a guy that has romantic feelings for you, and you've admitted that, correct?
The feelings, yes. The actions, no.
But you've got romantic feelings for her, so you get in a fight with him and you flee to a guy who has romantic feelings for you, and you think that is a healthy relationship dynamic?
No.
So what is it that you're confused about then?
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, obviously we're not in a healthy relationship, but I'm so confused on how I'm supposed to fix it. I feel like I'm stuck in between two people that are pulling me two separate directions, and I can't do anything about it.
Okay, let me just ask you here. You said that you're caught between two people like a rope in a tug-of-war.
Exactly.
Okay, that doesn't sound like a friendship relationship to me.
Our friends not supposed to give you advice. They're supposed to be there when you need them.
They're not supposed to make you a rope in a tug-of-war.
And I've never pressured her in any way, shape, or form as far as leaving him, as far as anything.
You are a smitten kitten. You have feelings for her, right?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to mince words. You do. But she is in a committed relationship. And you need to back off and respect that. And you're saying, look, what you're doing here is you're taking away my best friend and leaving with somebody that's abusive, controlling, and overbearing. Correct. Thank you, Dr. Phil. Nice fix.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm telling you, you two have a child. I don't believe people stay together for the children.
No.
I don't believe that. But you do have a child here. You do have a relationship here. And you need to try to resolve this in some way, and you never, ever fix a relationship by turning away from your partner towards a third party. An interloper never, ever helps the situation.
Not even family.
There are certain things that are between a man and a woman in a committed relationship, and that's where they need to be resolved. You have some problems here. Do you get that?
Yeah, I understand.
You're threatened by a lot of people besides him, true?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and that's what I mean. You're like a paranoid with somebody after you. You do have somebody here that has crossed the line, crossed the boundaries, in my opinion. You may disagree, and you're certainly welcome to do that. But you are hypersensitive about this stuff, and this is like throwing salt on the wounds. You need some couples counseling, and I will make that available to you. Without that working, or if you don't want to do that, then you either need to commit to this relationship or get out of it. But you don't keep 1 foot here and 1 foot over here, which is what you're doing. That will drive you crazy.
I am going crazy.
This relationship, in my opinion, is inappropriate. This relationship is inappropriate.
Okay. What would you do if you were me? Would you tell me to stop talking to him?
What I would do if I were you is I would recognize that this relationship has crossed boundaries. Okay. I would recognize that I need to rein this in. I would ask him to respect the boundaries of this relationship and give you an opportunity to work on it. I would not be confiding in him things about your marriage because that's inappropriate. I would not be going to his house with or without co-workers to play video games and beer pong. I would not be lying to him about going to move my sister when in fact I was going to a basketball game with him one week and a hockey game with him the next week. Those are dates. I don't care what you want to say. Those are dates. That's inappropriate. I would stop that behavior. I would take the help that I'm offering to arrange for you in your hometown and try to get this resolved.
You say hockey game, Dr. Phil?
Yes.
I was lied to about that, too. You told me Jess was not there. You left there so we could go dinner.
Thing.
I was totally lied about that one right after the basketball game.
Aaron, if I tell you where I'm going, you will jet out and I will be stuck at home with Aubrey.
You need to recognize there is a pattern here. How many examples there are doesn't matter.
There's plenty.
You need to get some help here.
I love her and I'm willing to do it.
Well, then you need to do that, and you need to calm down and work on this, and you need to respect their efforts to do that and give them the space to do it.
Okay.
Okay? Fair enough? Okay. We're moving on. My next guest, Tommy, says his partner is a little too friendly with customers at work. We're going to hear their story when we come back.
If I smiled at you wrongly, Tommy would be going. He gives me the look.
Do you give him the look?
Yeah. He's pulled him away from talking to people.
Well, I mean, it's just I can't help being jealous. I mean, I'm petrified of being alone for the rest of my life.
Okay, I want to know what you think. Can men and women be just friends? Is it possible to have a platonic relationship with someone of the opposite sex? Log on to drphil.com right now and take our poll. Tommy admits that he checks Andy's Facebook and cell phone text messages every single day.
Tommy gets so jealous that I just lose all wits to myself.
When Andy and I get into arguments, it goes from steady arguing, yelling, screaming, and I just shut him off. He's a very vivacious, very bubbly personality, but the hugging hello, the hugging goodbye, when I see it, I feel like my head is fixed to explode.
He takes my friendliness as being flirtatious, and it's just absolutely crazy.
When he's being a little bit too touchy, the first thing I do is I tell him, I got my eyes on you.
Tommy and I have reconnected with an old friend of ours named Paul. And Paul is a childhood friend of mine. He and Tommy used to be involved. Paul has a new lover named Gino. And Gino and I just hit it off immediately.
Andy became Facebook friends with Gino.
When I'm not around Andy, I do send him texts and emails.
It's a little excessive, in my opinion.
I feel like I'm steadily being watched.
I check everything from his phone bill to his email accounts. I forbid him to ever delete anything.
I am so tired of arguing because of his jealousy.
If something is not done with the way that I deal with this jealousy, that it's going to end up destroying this relationship.
Okay, so what's going on here?
I've always had a problem with jealousy. Several relationships throughout my life has ended because of jealousy. I hate it. It's come to a point where I feel like that Andy is my soulmate and that I need help because I don't want to end this relationship like so many before them has ended.
So you've run him off before with this jealousy.
Exactly.
You've driven him crazy before.
Exactly.
Dr. Phil, right? He has ran Paul, which is Gino's lover now, of 15 years. They dated in the past, and this is why they broke up.
Now, you're currently in a relationship with Paul.
Yes.
We've been together 15 years.
15 years.
Yes.
You used to be in a relationship with Paul.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. Well, as Tommy has said, this is not the first relationship he's put in jeopardy because of his jealous behavior. His ex-partner, Paul, Gino's current partner, called it quits after Tommy drove his car into a restaurant during a jealous fight. Take a look.
Tommy was jealous to the point of being obsessive.
I followed him constantly. He would call me and say, I've got to be at work this afternoon, and I would leave then and go to his house and see if he was there, and then I'd go by his job and make sure he was there. On one occasion, I was tracking him, and he tried to get away from me, and I didn't allow that.
He jumped in my vehicle as I was driving away and took control of my steering wheel, which caused me to run into the establishment where we were dining.
It was extremely childish and pretty pathetic.
After the car accident, that was the end of the relationship. It seems now that Tommy has a jealousy issue with me reconnecting with Andy, and he has a problem with Gino and Andy now having a friendship.
I'm obsessively controlling, and I feel like it's a touch of insanity.
Okay, y'all are going to have to help me out here. I actually had to make a dance card.
I can see that.
Here, where I've got Tommy and Andy, but Tommy used to be involved with Paul, who's now involved with Gino. You're childhood friends with Paul.
Right, exactly. Right.
Okay, but you're now good friends with Gino, and you have a problem with all of it.
I am confident in who I am. I speak to everybody, and I want everyone to feel my compassion.
Are you a flirt?
No, not at all.
Yeah, he is.
Not at all.
I have to jump in and say I disagree. Andy is always been outgoing. We've known one another all the way through elementary school, all the way through high school. We've always been friends.
But y'all never been lovers?
Never romantically involved at all.
Never even discussed anything like that.
Tommy was the first guy that I ever dated. It was really good in the beginning, except for the controlling issues. It became more of, I didn't know whether to mind him or my mother. Type of a situation.
So why do you think you're the way he's describing you?
I really feel like I just don't have any control. It's like almost like an out-of-body experience. When something strikes me that makes me jealous, it's like it just takes over. I mean, I have no control over it.
Do you think with this hypervigilance and constant sarcastic remarks and complaints and criticisms and pouting and all the things, do you think that gives you control?
Well, at the moment I do it, yeah.
His ex-lover right before me rents a room from us upstairs.
Well, that's because we ended on good terms and we're friends.
But you wouldn't like that.
I wouldn't allow that. No.
You wouldn't like that if he was renting in with Gino.
No.
If Gino was just taking a room in the house, you wouldn't be okay with it.
Listen, I was in a 12-year relationship before Tommy and I got together. I can't even bring up my ex's name. Just seem like memories of talking of a travel that we went to or anything. I have to just act like I had gone by myself. I can't say his name, because if I say his name, I get. And you know, and it just, and I, being as vibrant as I am, and I react to everything. Of course, I get mad as hell, and I go, how dare you with your double standards? We have a little lounge, and I'm the bar manager. I can't even, like, as far as going behind the bar, and if you said, I want a beer, if I say, hey, buddy, what you want? You need a beer? And if I smiled at you wrongly, Tommy would be going, I'm watching you. He gives me the look.
Do you give him a look?
Yeah.
He's pulled him away from talking to people.
Well, I mean, it's just, I can't help being jealous. I mean, I'm petrified of being alone for the rest of my life. I feel like that he is my soulmate. I want to make sure that something is done to fix this before I run him away like I have of the previous.
Well, you want me to tell you how you're going to have to do that?
Yes, sir.
Well, stay here, because we're going to take a break, and I'm going to do just that. Be right back. Well, I'm here with Tommy, who's dating Andy. Also here is Paul, who Tommy used to date, and Gino, who's now dating Paul, but is friends with Andy. Your hope, according to you, is that you were going to come here and I was going to straighten out his flirtatious nature.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I was gonna fix him.
Nip it in the bud.
Can I jump in here, though, and say that you don't really have to have a flirtatious nature to be on the defensive end of some of Tommy's jealousness, because I wasn't doing anything when I was getting a lot of the flack from Tommy in our relationship many years ago.
I got you.
Dr. Phil, Gino and I've never met Gino until September of 2010. We immediately hit it off, and we just had that little connection. I don't talk with him outside.
Is that paying you to hear that?
No, not really. I just don't like him showing any excessive attention to anybody besides me.
So in return, you want to change my personality and who I am to adjust to what you want?
Well, and ultimately, that's what I'd like to do, but I know that's not going to. I know that's not going to work. I mean, I know that that's not going to work.
This isn't at all about your partner, is it? Because it's been about every other partner you've ever had as well. So it's not about your personality. You could change and be 10 levels below your current level of engagement and energy and vibrant interactions and all of that. And you would say that would be better, but you're certainly not that way, and he drove your car in a Cracker Barrel.
Well, and that was the thing. I felt, you know, in the beginning of the relationship, almost like it was sort of a privilege that someone wants to be involved in your life, someone who cares about you that much. You sort of take it as a compliment.
It's actually very tedious, isn't it?
Very much so.
And it wears you down. It does. And so you wind up spending a lot of time experiencing anxiety.
Exactly.
And then pouting. Because you got to let him know this was not okay. You're going to be punished. Now, right?
Yeah.
And so we get...
Exactly.
We get the look. Why do you put up with this? I think you teach people how to treat you. Why do you put up with this?
Well, I'm in love with him, and I want to make this work.
At this point, he says he's in love with you. But you know you're going to blow it, right? This is going to...
I feel that way.
You've got to be honest enough with yourself to say, it's not about him, it's not about what Paul did, it's not about what's happening between these two, it's not about anything. This is something that comes from the inside out. And it has to do with a lack of security. It has to do with a lack of self-esteem. It has to do with a lack of self-worth. Because you have the feeling that if you don't maintain a hyper-vigilant attention and control over everything, that it's going to slip away.
That's exactly the way I feel.
Because you're unwilling to say, you know what, I'm just going to let this unfold the way it will, and I'm going to have confidence that I have enough value and enough worth that somebody's going to be with me because they want to, not because I make them, not because I trap them, not because I got them into the web and kept them there. What you've got to be willing to do is say, I've got to stop trying to control other people and focus 100% on myself. This is an anxiety neurosis that you have, in my opinion. And if you can learn to dissipate the anxiety, if you can learn to trust yourself enough to let some rope out and say, wow, people didn't run away, you're going to feel like you won the lottery.
Well, see, that's what I want. I mean, that's what I want. I just don't feel like that I can do it. I mean, I've tried to do it. I've tried to just sit back and say, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to, bring it up. I'm not going to, do the watching you thing. And it's just like, I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
There's a difference. What you're doing is what I call white knuckling. You know, that's like somebody that says they're sober. You know, they haven't had a drink for 3 weeks and they're clawing the end of their chair. They haven't really dealt with the addiction. They're just white-knuckling through. That's what you're doing, right? You say, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let him go over there and talk to him, and I'm going to just sit here and not say anything.
Exactly.
And the whole time you're going, and he's feeling like, my God, is he in a seizure? Okay. That's not healing. What we've got to do is you got to quit being defensive about this. Go inside and learn how to manage this anxiety. I will arrange that for you to give you that physiological control where when you feel that coming on, you can push it away. And I'm going to tell you, in a very short period of time, you can turn this around if you're willing to do the work. Are you willing to do the work?
I'm very willing.
I mean, really, you got to be.
Sir.
You got to. You got to quit trying to justify it. Quit trying to defend it. Quit trying to explain it. Just acknowledge that the problem is yours, not theirs, and take the help and get this anxiety under control.
Please.
You'll do that.
Please.
Really?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. Well, we're going to follow up with you guys and find out what happened. We'll be right back. Seriously, this will turn around very quickly. Well, if the work spouse phenomena sounds familiar to you, I would love to hear your stories from the workplace. You can go to drphil.com and tell me what's going on there. I do want to hear from you. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook, or drphil.com, or my blog at blog.drphil.com. I love hearing from you guys because you determine what the shows are going to be about. So we have a plan, right? And we're going to meet with you backstage and talk about it. We have a plan for you guys, right?
Yes.
And you're going to give them the space to do that, right?
Of course.
Okay. Well, we're going to track these stories and let y'all know what happens. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
At 14, she was getting trafficked on Craigslist for sex.
There are predators on the internet targeting young girls.
We posted an ad posing as an 18-year-old girl. You were calling on the ad? Yeah, you gutless worm, you hung up.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it gets worse.
This is the most disgusting thing I have ever heard. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth? Let's do it. I'm backstage right now with Andreas, who's our information technologies expert, because he is helping me do an experiment today to show just how easy it is for someone to pose as someone else online and how quickly someone can be lured in. So what we've done here, because I know that so many young girls are getting on these social networking sites with provocative pictures and provocative dialogue, that's getting them in trouble. What we've done is had Andreas here pose as an 18-year-old girl putting up something on these social networking sites. Tell me what you put up in this ad.
So we put up an ad, and it basically says, fresh-faced young girl looking for fun, that I'm 18 years old. I'm new to the area. I'm looking to party. I'm down for anything. And then it lists our phone number.
Okay. Okay, now the phone is ringing right now because of just this ad, right? This is a phone that you bought. It's a prepaid phone. The only place anybody can get this number is from this ad, right?
That's correct.
And you can hear it just ringing crazy right now. Now, the picture here just shows legs, doesn't even show a face. In the first hour, what did we have?
We had 39 text messages, over 27 phone calls, and 5 emails.
In the first hour?
In the first hour alone.
Okay, so, and the people have no idea that they're talking to a 20-something guy. And we have no idea who these calls are coming from.
That's correct.
All right, so they're leaving text messages. What are they saying? Can I see some of the responses? Okay, hey, let's hook up. How much? I mean, they're assuming that this is for hire. And let's see, this one really disturbs me. Wanted to see if you wanted to hang out with me and my fiance tonight. We can travel. I have a bunch of pictures I can send you. Now, I'll tell you why that one bothers me so much. That's a pimp. That's somebody trying to lure this girl. And the reason I say that is because they're mentioning fiance, which is probably one of his other girls. So we're going to track this during the hour.
Yeah, we just reposted the ad so
okay.
we could
you
get...
put up a new ad?
Right, just a few minutes ago, just to see how many responses we could get during this hour.
All right, so I can check back with you. Apparently it's working.
Absolutely.
Because that phone is just lighting up and ringing nonstop. Hello? Hello? Yes, you were calling on the ad? Hello? Yeah, you gutless worm, you hung up. Now, here's the thing, guys. We don't know who's responding to these ads, but we know what they want. And this isn't just something that happens in theory. You're getting ready to meet a girl by the name of Rosabella. She's 18, and talk about a cautionary tale. She was only 14 when she was sold online for sex. It started with just what you're seeing right here. Maybe your daughters play around with this. Maybe they put provocative things out there just wanting to have fun. But it can get ugly in a hurry. This is one you need to see.
When I was 13, I was introduced into prostitution. While walking the street, I met a female. She introduced me to a website called Craigslist to post ads and get calls from the internet. I would have a greeting stating I'm looking for a generous man who is looking to have a good time. It would list my prices and the services that I provided. On a typical day, I might get 30 calls a day. On Craigslist, I would probably see 6 to 15 guys a day. Having sex with that many men in one day is very degrading. When meeting gentlemen off of Craigslist, it was more nerve-wracking because you didn't know if they were the police. As if you meet them on the streets, you can have them touch you and you know that they're not the police. I got a call from a guy on Craigslist. When I went on this date, I went alone and he ended up raping me. After the man had raped me, he had tried to give me extra money so that I wouldn't go to the police or tell anybody about it. I decided that I needed to change my life. I got out of prostitution to be able to start a family and do the things that I thought I never could. I had to learn to love myself from within instead of trying to find love from every other guy.
Rosabella, first, thank you for being here. I can't tell you how important this can be to so many young girls that are out there. You have seen the dark side of this internet activity. Now, let me kind of go through this. You were doing drugs and partying, right?
Yes.
Just in your community. It was just bad choices that you were making, and you don't disagree with that now, right?
No.
Okay, how old were you when you lost your virginity?
I was 12.
Now, at 13, you met 2 guys and went to party with them, and there were a bunch of girls there, right?
There was 2 girls.
And how were they dressed? What stuck out about them?
They had their nails done, and they had really nice clothes on, name brands.
And they were getting those clothes and that from the money from having sex?
Yes.
So what did you think at that point? I mean, you thought, what, you're already having sex, so what?
Well, I was already promiscuous because I was trying to find love. I was looking everywhere for the love from a man. And so I figured I can get paid for it and have sex. That's easy.
So you did it for a couple of days, right? Mm-hmm. And you say, how many times had you had sex in those 2 days?
Probably like 15 times.
15 times. Tell me what happened on Valentine's Day.
It was 2 weeks after I had been with them. They asked me if I wanted to go and walk the streets for the money. And I said no. We got in a little bit of an argument. I turned around and started doing my makeup. And next thing I knew, he had shot me.
He shot you. Then at 14, you met a woman that was pregnant.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I met her, and she told me that she had 2 cars and an apartment, and, you know, she kind of tried to bond with me like friends. And then she had me working for her.
And this was through Craigslist, right?
She had me working on Craigslist mostly.
Okay, and you said that it was $250 for an hour, $180 for 30 minutes, $100 for a quickie, and you were making how much a day?
Over $1,000.
And how much of that did you keep?
None.
Where did the money go?
I had to give it all to my pimp.
And what was your motivation? If all the money's going to her...
She kept me on drugs, so I was on ecstasy and cocaine, and I was drunk all the time, and she would take me shopping, get my nails done, and feed me, and let me live at her house.
Kind of like a mother.
Yeah.
Except that
Yeah.
she was exploiting you horribly. But you got out of this in December of last year. Why did you do it? How did you do it?
Well, I did it because I wanted to have my family back. I was about to be 18. It was holidays. I had a miscarriage early December, and I knew that I couldn't continue on with what I was doing. I didn't want to use drugs, so it was depressing to try to sell yourself and not be on drugs.
What did your ad say when it was on Craigslist?
It would say, "Hi, my name is such and such," an alias.
Put in a name.
And it would say, "I'm looking to have a good time. I'm new in town. If you're looking to have a good time, call me," with my number. And it would state prices for the time and the services that I would do.
We've put up a fake ad like this now to see what happens. We're getting like 50 contacts in the first hour. That doesn't surprise you at all, does it?
No.
And those are real contacts that if you returned that call, that's what was happening when you were in it before you got out. So tell me about your life now.
March, I started back at community college, and I graduated with my GED. I'm 8 months pregnant, a little bit over. And I live on my own apartment. I work, and that's my life now.
But it's a job. It's a real, legitimate job.
Yes.
And where is the father of this baby?
He lives with his cousin, but we're still working on everything together.
So he's in the picture?
Yes.
Are you glad to be out of this?
Yes.
How does it feel to know that you have your own place, a baby on the way, and a real job? It may not be the job you want the rest of your life, but it's a job.
Yeah. It feels amazing. I never thought that I could even go back and try to finish school. I thought I'd missed so much that I couldn't even go back.
Well, we have a mom here who's been listening to Rosabella's story. She has every reason to be concerned. You're going to find out why when we come back.
Stephanie became very obsessed with the internet. I found some photos. The guys in the pictures were totally exposing themselves. We saw inappropriate ones that she would send of her, very provocative positions.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Is your spouse having a midlife crisis?
I don't want to end our relationship. I just don't want to be married.
He wants to have his cake.
Are you seeing other women?
No.
And eat it, too.
There's not anybody in America that believes that.
Plus,
Miles is very boring.
She's been unfaithful.
The affair, I never thought that would happen.
But what's her other secret?
She's been hiding something and wants him to know the truth.
That's tomorrow.
It's so easy for anyone at any age to post an ad on the internet. I thought it would be fun, it would be easy, but it left me miserable.
Well, if you're just joining us, that was Rosabella. She was lured into prostitution at 13. At 14, she was getting trafficked on Craigslist for sex, $1,000 a day. Sex, and none of it, of course, went to her. She was plied with drugs and every manner of manipulation you can imagine. Now, there's a mother here. Her name is Dana. She has great concerns about her 14-year-old daughter, Stephanie. If you haven't hit record on your DVR, I think you should do it, because I think this is something you're going to want to watch with your daughters. Let's take a look at this tape.
Stephanie was always an easygoing child, just all-around good girl. Stephanie's grandfather had purchased a laptop with a webcam for Christmas when she was 11 years old. And that's when all the problems began. Stephanie became very obsessed with the internet. She would be on it all hours of the night. I made her show me her MySpace. I realized that there was guys that were 20 and 21, and for a 12-year-old girl to have 20-year-olds on your MySpace was inappropriate. I found some photos. The guys in the pictures were totally exposing themselves. We saw inappropriate ones that she would send of her, very provocative positions. In August of '09, I found out that she had had sex Stephanie was 12 at the time. This is where it gonna make me cry. The guy was 19. I think my daughter's had sex with you guys. I don't know half the stuff Stephanie's done online, but it scares me. No matter what I do, there's no way to keep her away from the internet. And I'm afraid that she's setting herself up where she could be raped, killed, kidnapped, and she just thinks it's never gonna happen to her. I don't know if anyone has ever tried to lure her away, but it could happen.
Your fear is that your daughter is going to wind up in exactly the life that Rosabella was in.
Yes. She's very naive.
She has set up multiple accounts, MySpace, Facebook. She talks on Messenger. She sends pictures, and she's got to where she's slick. She deletes her history. She deletes her cookies to hide it from me. I opened up her email account one time, and as I opened it, there was several pictures of males exposing themselves. She told me she did not respond to them, but if you would go through the emails sent from the guys, you could tell that she must have sent something or commented, because they'd be like, oh, the picture was sexy, can you send another one?
You found out a year ago that she had had sex with a 19-year-old.
That's correct.
What did you do about that?
We contacted the local authorities, and my daughter was still, she just didn't want to help. She wouldn't tell us no names or anything. We had to find it out all on our own.
And you did, and you prosecuted.
Yes, we prosecuted.
And did he go to jail?
He went to jail for 5 years, and he's a registered sex offender on 2 charges.
All right, well, good for you. Good for you that you stepped up and held him accountable at this point. Now, tell me why you're here. What do you want from me?
Stephanie seems to think it's all right for her to go online. She doesn't understand the dangers. I've tried everything I can to explain to her that she could place herself in a situation where she could be kidnapped or killed.
Let me ask you, you want help with this, right?
Yes.
So what are you willing to do to keep her from winding up in the life that Rosabella was living?
I'm willing to do anything. I've taken her internet away. I've taken her laptop, her iPod, her DSI system. I keep her at home all the time so I can keep supervision over her. If she wants to go somewhere, I have to go with her.
All right. What should she be willing to do to keep her out of your lifestyle? I mean, how dark is where this girl is headed if she goes where you are?
It sounds just like how I started. So it's hard and it's scary to hear about that from another girl. However, my mom tried the same things you did, took away computer privileges, took away phone privileges, didn't even have a house phone, didn't, would deadbolt me in the house when she was gone. But it didn't work. I would crawl out windows. I would do anything to get away and keep running away. I really had to see the truth firsthand and what it was before I could even stop.
Well, that's why we wanted you here today, so somebody doesn't have to see that. They can see it through the suffering that you've been through. Now, Robin Sachs is here. She is a former sex crimes prosecutor with the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office who's been researching sex trafficking. Robin, this is a serious situation, true?
Oh, this is a hugely serious situation and hugely rampant situation.
What's going on in trying to stop this and prosecute these people? I assume it is so prolific and so anonymous over the internet that it's like stomping ants. You can't really get there.
Well, there is the supply and demand issue where there's a huge amount of demand and therefore a huge amount of supply, and as the supply continues, the demand continues. What happens is that these young girls are getting prosecuted for prostitution, and while children don't have the ability to vote and rent hotels and really can't even be prostitutes, they can be prostituted. They cannot actually be prostitutes, but what they're risking is jeopardizing their criminal livelihood and going to potentially be in jail themselves.
So we're basically prosecuting the victims but not the networkers, not the pimps, not the websites. We're prosecuting the victims that are being exploited and sexually trafficked.
Absolutely. For a cop, it's so much easier to go after the prostitute. It's easy. They're right there. They can go. They can write them up. They can lock them up.
Okay, and here's what I want people to understand. Mothers are sitting at home right now saying, my daughter doesn't want to be a prostitute. She wouldn't go do this. I think what I want people to understand is these young girls aren't intending to do that. What they're doing is wanting to behave really grown up, really big, really get out there and be the center of attention from all of these boys. What they don't know is that some of those boys turn out to be pimps who ply them with drugs and threaten them and start forcing them into prostitution. True?
Absolutely. A predator is a skilled individual who knows how to find the weak people. They know how to find the people who are vulnerable. They know how to find the people on drugs. And they know what tools and what gifts and what drugs to give to maintain their hold. And they are persistent. And there's enough people that they can go on to the next person if you're not interested.
And that was exactly your experience, true?
Yes.
Drugs and money and clothes and promises. And then when you wanted to leave, you wound up getting shot.
Yes.
That's the reality we're talking about here, Mom. All right, let me tell you what. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to check in to our experiment and see if the ad we've put up is getting any reaction. And then Dana's daughter, Stephanie, is here. We're going to see if any of this is getting through to her. We're going to talk to her, because this is one young girl we don't want to fall through the cracks. We'll be right back. Well, today we're talking about the dark side of the internet, and there is a dark side. At the beginning of the show, we posted an ad on some social networking sites posing as an 18-year-old girl, saying, hey, want to party, want to have a good time. Our IT director, Andreas, is in the green room. Let's check in with Andreas. What's happening? We put this up just a short time ago when we started the show. Are we getting calls, texts, emails?
Yes, a lot of each. We have 13 emails, over 31 phone calls, and over 48 text messages.
And we're just, what, 20, 30 minutes into the show. Mm-hmm. So we've posted this up and have that much traffic. So that's how much they're out there. That's how many predators are out there. Andreas, thank you.
Sure.
I'm really interested because I've got some young girls right here in this row. Is this scary to you?
It is. It's disgusting.
Do you spend time online?
Oh, yeah.
And in chat rooms and that sort of thing? Mm-hmm. Stand up. How about you? Does this surprise you?
It does. It really is disgusting, and I really hope every girl out there can just see how sick people are out there that you don't even know, who's posing for what, and
learn from it.
Y'all are obviously very attractive. Do you put pictures up?
Appropriate pictures.
Right. I don't mean no. I understand, but it doesn't take much because you don't have to put up inappropriate pictures. For this to go south. There are some things Stephanie has been up to that Dana doesn't even know. Let's take a look at that.
The first guy I slept with was 19. He asked me my age. I said I was 12. He said, I'll pretend like I don't know your age. I kept it a secret from my mom. It was a mistake. I messed up. Now I feel like I can't recover from it. It's changed my whole perspective of life. The second guy I slept with was 14. The third guy was 18. The fourth guy was 16. The fifth guy was 16. The oldest guy I ever talked to online was 24. A couple of guys even offered plane tickets for me to come see them. I have sent pictures to boys of me in my bra and panties. Getting this male attention, it makes me feel pretty. I'm not really afraid of meeting people online. I don't think it's dangerous.
We're talking to you today down here and not up there because I'm not going to show your face because I don't want to put her face here as a target for predators. We're just not going to do that. I'm not here to yell at you. I'm not here to judge you. But you can't tell me that you want to demean yourself and allow yourself to be used in the way that Rosabella was used and in the way that we're talking about? Tell me that's not true. You don't want to do that, do you?
I don't.
Do you love your father?
Yeah.
Do you have a good relationship with him?
Nope.
Can I say something?
Not yet. What do you want from your father that you're not getting? You can't tell me that you want to demean yourself and allow yourself to be used in the way that Rosabella was used and in the way that we're talking about. Tell me that's not true. You don't want to do that, do you?
I don't.
You told us there were 5 different people. True?
True.
How do you feel afterwards?
Afterwards, okay, and then later on, I feel used.
And why do you feel used?
I don't know.
And where have you met these 5 people?
They're friends through the internet.
Some of them you've talked to in chat rooms and online?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have a relationship with all 5 of them?
No, I don't talk to any of them.
So it wasn't the beginning of belonging to someone. It wasn't the beginning of belonging in a relationship. True?
True.
Where's your father in all this?
Home? I don't know. Like, what do you mean?
Do you talk to him about this?
No.
Does he talk to you about it?
No.
Do you love your father?
Yeah.
Does he love you?
Yes.
Do you have a good relationship with him?
Nope.
Can I say something?
Not yet. What do you want from your father that you're not getting?
Everything. Love, attention.
You miss that from him?
Yes.
What did you want to say?
When she was 12, she got raped. And after she got raped, her father called her names. And after that, she didn't even go over there for a whole year. He didn't even try. He just belittled her until I finally put my foot down and told him, listen, she's seeking attention from the wrong guys. You need to be a part of her life. I don't care if you want to be a part or not, you're going to. And I made him start taking her every other weekend like he was supposed to.
Stephanie, I want you to look at me. Do you think that I want to help you?
I do.
This is not your fault. You didn't, look at me. You didn't do anything wrong here. I know you think you're grown up, but right now you're still very much a child. I don't say that to be condescending to you. I'm not saying that to put you down. But when you are a victim of rape, it changes how you think about yourself. It changes how you see yourself. It causes you to feel like you're damaged in some way. It causes you to think that that's all you have to offer. But that, look at me, that's not true. You are a young, vibrant, intelligent young woman. And you have to be your own best friend here. Now, I'm sorry that your father is having a difficult time with this, and I will do everything within my power to help heal that broken bond. I truly will. You don't deserve his disdain. You don't deserve his rejection. You don't deserve his judgment. And you deserve better from yourself as well. But you're not going to fix this problem because it feels good at the time. While you're with some guy, they say nice things to you, don't they? You feel loved at the time. But in the moment, it feels like you are wanted and desired and accepted. But let me tell you, The kind of person that has sex with a 14-year-old girl is a sick, worthless, no-good pervert. That's not who you want to be loved by. It's not who you want to spend time with. Those are sick people. There is someone in this world that is going to love you and respect you and lift you up. There is someone in this world to share your life with, but you're not ready to find that person yet. I had you sit here and hear about Rosabella. They forced her to have sex 15 times a day. They plied her with drugs. They shot her. They wouldn't let her go back to her mother. That doesn't have to happen to you. You've been hurt inside, and you're trying to fix it by these connections, and that's not what we want to do here. Do you hear what I'm saying? You have a wound inside, and you need help to heal that. And I'm going to get you that help, okay? Will you take that help? And you don't want to lie to your mother. Let me tell you, look this woman in the eye. Do you see judgment from her, or do you see love in her eyes?
Love.
She is hurting for you. If she could trade places with you, she would. But she can't do that, but she reached out instead. She reached out here. She reached out to all of us here to try and help you. And let me tell you, I'm stepping up and answering that call. Do you hear me? It's you and me, girl. We're gonna fight this together. All of us here, we're gonna do this. Will you let me help you?
Yes.
And I'm talking to everybody in this audience right now. If you think this child is a victim and not a bad person, if you think she deserves better, if you think she's hurt long enough, stand up for her right now. We're going to work on this, okay? We're going to work on this. We're going to move on. Unfortunately, people on the internet are very, very creative in evil ways. And one family is being tormented by total strangers online. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
The sergeant on duty just said, remember her beautiful smiling face.
Within days, accident scene photos showed up online. The most horrific were of Nikki's newly decapitated head.
Every time I look at a computer, I fear that I'm going to see the photographs of my daughter.
Why would anybody want to share such horrific, graphic pictures?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I don't want to end our relationship. I just don't want to be married.
Is your spouse having a midlife crisis?
Are you seeing other women?
No.
There's not anybody in America that believes that.
That's tomorrow.
It's a twisted case of alleged revenge on Long Island. A mother is accused of posting a sexually suggestive ad on Craigslist, urging older men to call a 9-year-old girl who had a fight with her daughter.
Clinical social worker Marjorie Tannenbaum of Hauppauge allegedly giving sex-seeking men a 9-year-old child's phone number through a Craigslist ad.
Topping our news this hour, the man who solicited the rape of a Nashona County woman through an ad on Craigslist was sentenced in district court just moments ago.
The judge sentenced Stipe to 60 years to life in prison.
The West Hartford man facing serious charges tonight.
The man who lives in this house is accused of posting a bogus sex ad on Craigslist, advertising a sexual encounter at a neighbor's house. The 41-year-old is now facing a slew of charges from harassment, reckless endangerment, and criminal liability for sexual assault.
We're talking about the internet. It's wonderful and it's terrible at the same time. There's something called trolling. Anonymous users bombard victims with offensive photos, messages, or abuse. Now, Christos and Leslie experienced trolling at its absolute worst. I just have to tell you, this is the most disgusting thing I believe I have ever heard, and it just gets me so upset I can't even tell you.
Nikki was a free-spirited, polite, sweet young lady. Absolutely a great daughter.
She was always surprising us and amazing us. She wanted to teach her sisters how not to make any of the mistakes she would make growing up.
The accident was October 31st, 2006.
We had lunch together. Krista said, all right, I'm gonna go to work. Nikki went upstairs to take a shower, and I just saw the garage door slam shut. She drove away, smiling and almost like, I'll be right back.
My wife called me. In my gut, I felt like something had happened to Nikki. I drove to where the accident was. While I was standing there, they were actually lifting up the car, and I fell to the ground. They painted a picture for us that Nikki had severe head trauma. The sergeant on duty just said, remember her beautiful smiling face. That's the way you need to remember her.
Within days, accident scene photos showed up online. The most horrific were of Nikki's nearly decapitated head. The pictures got out when at least one California Highway Patrol dispatcher emailed them to friends. From there, they spread like wildfire.
Somebody had put up a MySpace page saying that they were Nikki. Everybody in our family received these photographs through MySpace. Very close-up colored shots. They were really intense and graphic.
Nikki's been called some of the worst names I think anybody could call any individual. Everywhere from that deserved to die to a whore. When people are trolling, I wonder if they really realize the things that they're saying is about someone's child.
The photos have been on thousands of websites. Every time I look at a computer, I fear that I'm going to see the photographs of my daughter. I guess I would have said burying my child was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do until I saw those photos and saw what happened to her.
Why would anybody want to share such horrific, graphic pictures with other individuals? I think the saddest thing for me is I still hope that Nikki's going to come home. And I still hope that that day's going to come.
Well, first off, I can't be objective about this. It's sick. And I am so very, very sorry that y'all are being victimized like this. It's just horrible. So employees of CHP did this.
Yes.
They let them out. Have you been able to get the pictures off of the internet in any way, Christos?
No, not at all.
Why not? You don't own the pictures,
We don't own the pictures. California Highway Patrol own the pictures.
Can they not assign you the copyright so you can move on them?
We've been attempting for several years to get the copyrights. They won't even respond really at this point. And we've tried to go to the websites themselves and
what do they say?
Some of them have been cooperative, but for the most part, they tell us to take a hike.
When you see these pictures, what does it do to you?
I get angry. I'm really struggling with my anger. I have anger towards a lot of people, not just the internet, but with the California Highway Patrol and their lack of cooperation. And every time we turn around, there's something else on the internet that's, just harmful towards us.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. I want to share what some of these people are saying so the viewers understand the gravity of what we're talking about. Are y'all okay with that?
Yes.
One is, ooh, I'm here, Daddy. I'm a dead whore. I'm a stupid bitch. These are sick people that have no capacity for empathy. I want to share what some of these people are saying so the viewers understand the gravity of what we're talking about. Are y'all okay with that?
Yes.
Before I put it up, we made a list of some of those things, And I understand that you've been through this list and you're okay with it being posted here, so people understand what's going on. Because I don't want anything new here. I don't want to add to your suffering in any way.
Right.
All right, then let's have the graphics so you get the nature of what's going on. One is, "Ooh, I'm here, Daddy." Then you can just read them. "I'm a dead whore. I'm a stupid bitch. I was so happy I raped her corpse over and over." I'll let you read the rest of them. I just don't even coming out of my mouth. I can tell you from a psychological perspective, these are sick people that have no capacity for empathy. Keith Bremer is Christos and Leslie's attorney, and he's been fighting an uphill battle to have these photos taken off the web. Keith, it's almost impossible, is it not?
So we have experts that we work with that assist us in trying to identify who these people are that are posting these. Sometimes we have success in finding out who they are, and then we can write them letters and identify that if they don't remove it, that, you know, we'll go after them civilly for what they're doing. And sometimes we have success. A lot of times we can't identify who's actually doing that posting, and there's not much we can do. So then we have to go to the portal and ask the portal to remove that.
And I assume that a lot of these people they're basically judgment-proof anyway.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Danielle is one of Christos and Leslie's daughters. She says that it scares her that the pictures are out there. Well, what is your reaction to this? I'm sorry that you're having to deal with it.
Thank you. It's, you know, it's hard for me to just like look at anything. It's like...
Does it change your memory?
Yeah, it does.
We did contact CHP to participate in the show. They declined and sent us a statement, which we'll post up on drphil.com. I hope and pray that this doesn't overshadow your memories of your daughter. Just look at her. This was one of the most delightful, vibrant young women you could ever want to know. I mean, I'm sorry for your loss and for what you're going through since then. If you're involved in this, even peripherally, even just sharing it like gossip, where you just say, wow, and send it on, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be in this chain. Because when we think about this wonderful girl, let's think about what we're seeing right there. Let's not think about anything else. We'll be right back. You know, parents out there, we need to be computer literate. We need to know what's going on with our kids, because let me tell you, they're so much better at this digital world than we are, and we have to close that information gap. In the course of the last hour, we have received 16 emails, 42 phone calls, and 51 text messages in response to the ad that we put out. So if you think that these predators are not out there spring-loaded to victimize young children, to victimize innocent families, they are, and that means we need to protect ourselves. There's going to be a whole lot more about this on drphil.com on how to do the internet safety and keep people around. Thank you so much, Robin Sachs, for telling us your wisdom about this. We're going to stay on this topic to help you protect these kids. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
I always dream that I'm flying.
Flying dreams can mean that you're trying to escape a situation.
What are the 5 most common dreams?
My husband is dreaming that I'm cheating.
Are you kind of insecure?
Well, maybe a little bit.
What do your dreams reveal?
When we land, I'm the only one that's still alive.
Have you lost people close to you in your life?
Find out Dr. Phil's biggest nightmare.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth? Let's do it. What is this, a test? I'm supposed to be doing a show. Good grief. How am I going to do a show with no teeth? This is turning into a real nightmare. Oh, wow, this is cool. Well, there's my studio. I need to be down there starting the show. Whoa! Hey, whoa!
Dr. Phil, wake up, you're on.
What?
Fly it.
Well, you just saw the top 5 most common dreams and nightmares. Now, we asked the audience to keep a dream journal and bring it to the show. So I'm just curious, did anybody do that? Yeah? So, all right, let's talk to a few of you guys. So what did you come up with? What was your main thing? Let me ask you in the blue shirt.
I always dream that I'm flying, and the dream starts out and it's awesome. You know, I'm zooming around, and then by the end of the dream, I'm just kind of bouncing along the floor.
Oh, you bounce on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
How about you?
Mine's not that exciting. I just dream about an ex-fiance coming back and wanting to be with me.
Yeah?
He's crazy about me.
Of course he is. I mean, naturally he would be. So do you hook up in the dream?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Did you have a dream?
Yes.
What was it?
I've actually had a recurring dream since my adolescence, and I'm in this beautiful paradise setting. Everything's beautiful, and out of nowhere comes this huge plane, crashes, chaos, everything, and I'm the only one that's worried.
You're the
And
only
that's
one
it.
that's
And no
worried?
one else is worried. And sometimes the plane comes and it bounces off the sidewalk. It's always a beautiful tropical setting. And then I wake up, and that's pretty much it.
Interesting. We're going to talk about planes later in the show. What was your dream?
Well, my dream was I would be in a gunfight, and I would actually get shot, and I could taste and smell the blood in my dream. So be very realistic.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that. All right. All right, find out today what your dreams may be trying to tell you. Now, you can go to drphil.com right now and take our dream interpretation quiz. You can do it while you watch the rest of the show and learn what your dreams might reveal about you. Don't want you to miss the show. Just click it up, and you can kind of do it as you go along. Now, Inception, the summer blockbuster, has people talking about dream analysis. Now, Jamie dreams that his wife is cheating on him, then he wakes up. But it doesn't stop there. Take a look.
The problem that my husband, Jamie, and I are having right now is that he's dreaming that I'm cheating.
The dreams are always about her and a guy she dated.
Jamie's had dreams that I was in our living room with my ex, having sex on my sofa, and he walks in, and I act as if he's not there.
I woke up in the middle of the night looking at her, ready to push her out the bed. Mad, because, I had this dream, of her bringing this man into my home. Oh, I was pretty steamed about it.
I said, what did I do? I haven't done anything. He goes, yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out, why am I dreaming that?
Donna tells me that she has no feeling for this guy. It's over. She's done. Yet, when I have these dreams, it kind of gives me that doubt.
I reassure Jamie that everything is good, but he's not buying it. I think the dreams are winning.
Okay, now, let me get this right. You're not dreaming this.
Not me.
You're dreaming it.
Yes.
About you.
Yes.
And you wake up and what?
And I'll be ready to push her out the bed because I'll be mad because it'd be mostly about her and one of her ex-guys she dated.
Well, why don't you push yourself out of the bed? It's your dream.
Exactly. That's
You're
what I
having the
say.
dream.
I'm not dreaming. I'm having fun. I'm asleep.
So but you really wake up upset.
Yes.
So how do you figure that? Because she's not dreaming this. You're dreaming it.
Mm-hmm.
This is all about you. So why are you mad at her?
Because it'd be about her cheating on me.
But it's you doing it. She should be mad at you for dreaming bad things about her, not you mad at her for you dreaming bad things about her.
Did you get that?
Did you get, I mean...
Yeah, I get it, but still, you know, that's like, you know, most married men, that's the worst thing they want, is to think that another man is sharing the love of their life, you know, and to dream about it is and it's like kind of vivid and all that too, but...
Some men would be glad for the help, okay?
Well, I don't need any help.
Not me, of course. I'm just speculating about some men. All right.
The dreams are bad.
But you stay mad all day.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay, now, come on. Has somebody told you that your dreams are telling you what you may be suppressing while you're awake? That maybe this is a clue, a warning? I mean, what do you say to yourself that justifies you being mad?
I don't know. I just, it's like, it's too real, you know, so I feel like I have the right to be mad, you know? So when I question her about it, and of course she gets frustrated about it, and
we'll be folding clothes, and he'll just stop and look at me and say, "Do you want to tell me something?" And I'm like, "About what?" And he goes, "I mean, come on, you were on the sofa, you were in the comforter. I mean, you just rolled over and looked at me." I said, "I'm having sex with him?"
Oh, so you're there.
Yeah, I walk in the room, and they get together, and
they just look at you?
Look at me and say, "Oh, you made it home." And
who does that?
Yeah, you are dreaming then, because let me tell you, if I was there and you walked in the room, I wouldn't be saying welcome home. Okay, but now, seriously, are you telling yourself that this is your subconscious trying to tell you something?
Yes.
So you're actually thinking that you've missed something. So I assume this is a recent boyfriend, that it's still a raw thing for him, like, what, 2 weeks ago, a month ago?
Are you kidding me? No, it's not recent. We've been married for over 20 years.
So this boyfriend is 20 plus years?
Yes, but he just feels like things weren't resolved, and, you know, so he feels like there's always a chance.
He might be chatting on the email, texting, something.
I'm not doing that.
Have you found any texts?
No.
Have you found any emails?
I don't check them.
Have you found any something?
Nothing. She's never given me any reason to even assume that she is, but for some reason I keep having these dreams, you know?
Are you kind of insecure?
I like to think I'm confident that I kind of got her on lock, you know? But at the same time, you know, I still have these dreams. And
so you don't think you're insecure?
I don't think so.
Tell the truth.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. So he pretty much does what you tell him?
Yep.
No.
So why don't you... So why don't you tell him to quit having his dreams?
I did that. It didn't work.
When you walk in the room and you see him there, how do you feel?
Oh, I get angry, real angry, right away.
You get angry right away?
Right away.
Does it feel good to be angry?
No, it doesn't.
Do you feel powerless?
Pretty much, yes.
So does he wake up pushing on you?
Well, basically, I wake up to him staring at me. I can feel it. He's always on this right elbow, and he goes, "I am so mad at you." I'm like, "What now?" He goes, "You walked in the house with this," and he starts telling me everything, how I walked in the house with the baby, and I said, "Baby? What baby? Our kids are grown." And I'm like, "What baby?" He goes, "You walked in the house with the baby." And I said, "Whose baby is that?" And you said, "Oh, it's my ex-baby, and I went and picked him up, and he's downstairs. I'm with him now." I said, just like that. So, and he's mad, really mad.
Okay, we'll talk about this. So what does it mean when you or your spouse, either one, has a cheating dream? The key to this dream when we come back.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil. It's Avery's first birthday.
Repeat after me. You can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Which grandparent?
This is good for you.
That's my screen.
Is the better babysitter?
All right, good match.
Plus, she's lost over 100 pounds.
Think she looks good?
But hasn't gained enough compliments from her husband.
Do not pause when I ask you this stuff. I am lobbing you softballs, buddy.
That's Monday.
The dreams affect our marriage in a lot of different ways because it kind of makes me think that he doesn't trust me at all.
My dreams are getting on her nerves. I want to tell her about most of them, but then I don't. If I told her about all the dreams, we'd probably be divorced.
Okay, well, I'm here with Donna and Jamie, and Donna is getting in trouble for sleeping, apparently, because while she's sleeping, her husband is also sleeping, but he's dreaming that she's having an affair in his dream. Not her dream, his dream. She's not dreaming about having an affair. He's dreaming about her having an affair, and he wakes up mad at her. Now, you're not the only ones that do this. You know, you haven't invented this.
Okay.
So, Daniel, where are you? What is your dream?
My dream started occurring after she started telling me that, you know,
Yes,
I'm dreaming of my ex.
But I've had this problem for a long time. Like, I actually lost the relationship because I'm dreaming of that ex. So I wake up and I'm dreaming about that ex.
So you've been doing this a long time.
Yes, and it cost me a relationship. So I'm sort of like traumatized because he knows about it now, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna wake up and might, you know, splurt out the wrong name because I'm still in my dream.
That would be bad.
And that happened to me before, but I tell him about my dreams because I feel really guilty when I wake up.
All right. So you feel better now?
Well, sort of, kind
See,
of.
she's not dreaming about her ex.
Right.
You are. And down here, she's actually dreaming about her ex.
Yeah, well, see, that's a whole different issue right there.
Yeah. You wouldn't handle that well at all.
Not at all.
No, that would be really bad. All right, look, I called in some reinforcements here to help. Cynthia Richmond is a behavioral therapist and has interpreted over 35,000 dreams for the Los Angeles Times in her column. And she's written Dream Power, How to Use Your Night Dreams to Change Your Life. And Dr. Barrett is a Harvard psychologist and researcher who has helped write the Encyclopedia on Dreams. Now, all right, let me just ask you guys. First off, what's your take on what's happening up here?
Well, it's irrational to blame your wife for your dreams, so you kind of have to start with that. Very few dreams are actually literal. You do want to rule that out first, and I'm sure you asked her, and she said, no, that should be the end of that. Dreams are symbolic, and typically when you're feeling betrayed in your dream, you have to ask yourself, where in my life do I feel betrayed? Or do I feel that I am betraying someone? And see what answers bubble up for that. Does that, okay, your wife's got something on that. What does that mean to you?
The question. Well, when you said, is he betraying someone? You know, the first person I thought about was me, because sometimes when I get upset, I'll say, is it really me or is it you? You have a story to tell?
Yeah.
And I want to hear the story. So I kind of flipped the script on him because I want answers because, you know, I'm not doing anything. And he says, well, you flirt and you know, you're always talking to guys and all that stuff. But, hey, I just got a big personality, so I'm not doing anything.
Dr. Barrett, what do you think about this?
Well, I think that although dreams are very vivid and they do wake us up with the feeling in the dream, it's not just automatic that when you have a dream like that, it has to carry over into waking suspicion. I've heard people tell almost the same dream and end up saying, it's such a relief to wake up and realize that she wouldn't really do that, or, you know, I'm so glad I'm with someone I trust. So I think that the waking jealousy is kind of a problem in and of itself, and I do a little more thinking about just if something triggers it, that, you know, what nights you happen to have that dream. Have you felt a little insulted or put down somewhere else out in the work world? Or is there just, you know, what's stirring up insecurity? But also, jealousy is so toxic that if you can just take your emphasis off that and start thinking about what you do like in the relationship, why you're together in the first place, if there is anything else you could be doing to make things more fun, maybe even telling yourself what you'd like to be dreaming about, like the best times or the good times between the two of you. Sometimes just focusing on the positive makes some of the bad begin to fade away.
Well, you know, when I have a dream I don't like, the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning is, oh man, I'm glad that was just a dream. I mean, I wake up like I'm totally free. It's like, wow, that was a dream, good deal, I am so out of here, and then I'm gone. So I mean, that you can focus on the positives.
You can. The problem is that it's recurring for him, so there's something that's unresolved that he needs to take a look at.
Dr. Barrett, what do you say to this young lady behind you that is dreaming about her ex vividly and passionately?
I don't really think about my ex. I'm not like, you know, I don't want to be with him or anything. I'm really happy with Daniel. I'm not sure why I keep dreaming about my ex.
Even though you much prefer being with Daniel, is there anything from that past relationship that you're missing and wish you could bring into your current life? Or maybe just something from that time and place in your life? Often early loves have a kind of carefree, you know, youthful innocence. So it may be that that time or person or relationship kind of represents something else.
I never thought about that. I never saw it in that way.
Another thing you can do is there's something called dream incubation, where as you fall asleep, you ask your dreaming mind particular questions or to dream on a topic, and you could tell yourself, you know, if I have that dream of my ex tonight, I want to ask him, why am I still dreaming about you? Or what
I wish I could control my dream and do that.
Well, if you self-suggest, a lot of people can learn to. If just as you're falling asleep, you tell yourself, tonight I want to ask, why are you coming around?
The point is that the ex-boyfriend is now symbolic for what you associate with him and the characteristics of that relationship.
Okay.
Not for him.
Right.
And you can even do what Dr. Barrett suggested and bring him into your mind's eye before you go to sleep.
Okay.
Bring him in and say, what is it that I need to understand about what you represent to me in my dream state? And very likely you can clean that out.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, and you need to think about the same thing here, because particularly right when you're falling asleep, you are highly suggestible even to yourself. And so you can talk to yourself about what you want to introduce to the dream, about what you might like to ask her in the dream, or what you might like to ask of yourself in the dream. We're not totally passengers in our dream state. We can program some things into it. It doesn't work every time, and it sometimes is a process. Now we're going to take a break. She wakes up to her fiance slapping her and digging into her chest. We're going to talk about what's happening in his dreams when we come back.
Tuesday on an all-new Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil's most frustrating parents
The girls are doing good at home.
are back.
Did she scream at you and attack you?
She did. When I
That's what you call the girls are doing pretty good.
That's Tuesday.
Well, as you just saw, vivid dreams can get you right up and out of bed. Now, that's what's happening to Rick and Nanette. Now, he is slapping, yelling, grabbing Nanette's skin with fingernails, all while sleeping.
Hi, Dr. Phil. This is Nanette, and my fiance has been having a lot of violent dreams. A few of them have kept me up very, very late. I get punched and pushed and shoved. At one point, I was sleeping, and all of a sudden, these hands come at me and woke me up very shockingly, of course, and I had 4 prints, one on each side of my chest like this. Could you help me explain what these dreams actually mean?
And obviously, he wakes you up.
Oh, yeah.
You come full alert immediately because you're under...
Full alert, and...
are his eyes open?
I don't see usually because it's dark, but a lot of times it's very physical things, but then very funny things that he does. So I'd never know what to expect. It's like I'm the one that wants to get some sleep, because his dreams usually start at 12 and they go till 4. So like in that time frame is when it all happens. One time it would be like in the middle of the night you hear, and you know, I'm dead sleeping. I'm like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, you know, he'll do that to my leg and he's killing mosquitoes and, you know, saving the world. So, I mean, I don't know what to expect. I'm trying to get a good night's rest. I talk. Yeah, I do. I talk the next day. I explain, do you remember this?
No, I mean during this, when he wakes you up, do you ever talk to him while he's asleep?
I talk to him and ask him, honey, are you okay? What are you doing? He's a cyclist, and so a lot of times his feet are going like this, and then he's going faster, and so they're going like this more, and he's kicking and kicking and kicking. It's getting faster and faster. So it's sort of like, it's always something physical, usually, that he's doing.
Okay, and do you ever wake him up?
I do wake him up. No, I wake him up because I'm thinking, you know, what's going to happen next? Is it going to escalate? And sometimes I wake up because I'm laughing because of what his dreaming is, and he's speaking things.
Do you wake up rested?
No.
Okay, so you don't
I wake up and I see her and my daughter's face looking at me, and I'm going, what are you doing? Sometimes. That happened once or twice.
There are a number of ways that you can think about this, and a number of ways that it could be explained. But when I hear something like this, the first thing that I want to do is always have the person rule out certain things that might need more attention. I mean, this could be just a dream cycle and a dream pattern that you're in, but it could be something that's more serious and has a medical basis to it. There's something called REM behavior disorder. It's a rapid eye movement is the stage of sleep where it's very repetitive, and it's a time when you're likely to dream. But you can have a disorder in there that could involve some type of neurological involvement. Dr. Barrett, let's talk about this a little bit.
This is serious. During REM sleep, we're normally paralyzed exactly so we don't act out our dreams. And people, it's called rapid eye movement sleep because our eyes move frantically doing everything that they're doing in the dream, but the rest of our body isn't moving. And in a few people, that paralysis lessens and people begin to act out their dreams. I would want to err on the side of caution and really have you call a sleep clinic today to make an appointment, and before, and they'll have you in, they'll take a more elaborate history, they'll probably do some other tests, and then they'll have you sleep in a sleep lab with EEG electrodes to see what's going on in your brain.
If this is something that has a neurological basis, a sleep disorder basis to it, you could hurt yourself or someone else purely by accident. It's not that you're afraid you're going to get up and do something intentional, but you can fall, you can hit your, catch your temple on the side of a table. He could hurt you unintentionally. But that's why it's really important that if it is this disorder, that you have it evaluated, because it is something for which there are remedies available that would have a pretty good prognosis if that's the case. True?
Yeah, there are medications that help that a lot.
Well, he says he is tired. One of the first things I asked him was, are you waking up rested? And he said, no, not at all.
No, that's a very good point as well.
But he doesn't
just the sleep deprivation could be causing the brain chemistry issue. It might not be a disorder. It might just be that you need to learn how to get a really good night's sleep.
Seriously, this needs to be evaluated with the proper folks, and we're going to guide you in that direction, okay? We'll help you with that. All right, we all share some common dreams. So next, we're going to hear what others are dreaming about and why, as this audience gets their dreams analyzed. We'll be right back.
We create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their secrets.
Then you break in and steal it.
Well, it's not strictly speaking legal. It's called Inception.
Well, that was a scene from the mind-bending summer hit Inception. Now, we're talking about dreams today, and dream interpreter Cynthia Richmond is here to help. And we've got Dr. Deidre Barrett is here as well, and we're kind of trying to figure out what these dreams mean, how it all comes together. Now, Rosie and Jennifer have some recurring dreams. So you guys come up, okay?
Hi,
all right.
I'm Jennifer.
How you doing?
Good.
Rosie, how are you? Tell me your dream.
I have a dream that I'm fighting, but I can only move in slow motion.
Right.
And sometimes I'm being attacked by tigers or enemies, bad guys, and I can't move. And then I realize I'm in the dream, but then I am trapped and I can't wake up.
Okay. So a tiger.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see the tiger? I know you see this tiger, but I mean, do you see the tiger as a threat at the time?
Yeah, it's running behind me at full speed,
Right.
and I can only run in slow motion.
Okay, so it's a really slow tiger?
It's a really fast tiger.
Well, no, you're in slow motion,
I'm only in slow motion.
but the tiger's really fast.
It's coming up on me.
Okay,
Yeah.
now let's talk about this.
And Dr. Phil, that's a pretty common phenomenon that during the sleep paralysis we were just talking about, the dreamer is partially awake, sometimes partially asleep, has the idea they want to run or yell and are unable to do it. But the other thing about dreams, and even though every dream is specific to the dreamer, there's some unconscious collective ideas about what symbols mean, and any cat can represent feminine power. A big cat, a fierce cat, can represent extreme feminine power. So I would ask you, are you afraid of your own power?
That's actually really good. I never thought of that. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
What does that mean to you? What do you mean you're afraid of your own power?
Well,
Should I be afraid?
no, you shouldn't, Dr. Bell. Well, sometimes I think I'm afraid to be feminine or be like a lady. I don't know. I have a lot of weird conceptions because I grew up in a really conservative family. So a lot of things that I really embrace and think are feminine, you know, my dad, who's really conservative and old school, just wants to shut down because he sees it as a threat. He was always afraid of his little girls growing up, so that makes a lot of sense, actually.
So what you can do with that, so you stop having this recurring dream about the tiger chasing you, is bring a tiger into your mind's eye and ask it, what can I do to be more comfortable being my full, powerful self?
I thought you were going to say bring a tiger.
see tiger as a sort of an archetype of your own personal power, and see how you can take steps to feel more comfortable expressing yourself that way.
Okay, thank you.
The whole point is to use the dream. I mean, don't be afraid of it. Ask yourself, you know, is there a message here? Is there something that this is telling me? Is there something I can do about this that makes me better in my waking life? What's your dream?
I've been dreaming for over 20 years that I am in a plane and I'm seatbelted in, and all of a sudden I feel the plane start to lurch and spin, and it's literally slow motion, but then all of a sudden the plane will break in half right in front of me. And I feel every turn and twist. I can remember the sounds, I can remember the feelings as I'm going to the ground. But the key is when we land, I'm the only one that's still alive. And I rush around trying to wake everyone up and revive them. And it's terrorizing. And it's been happening for over 20 years.
And it's pretty much the same every time?
Sometimes, no. Sometimes it's a car and I'm going over a cliff. Sometimes it's a roller coaster or a Ferris wheel, but usually it's a plane.
Does it always involve falling?
Yes.
Is everybody always dead
Yes.
but you?
Every time.
And how do you feel when you're alive and everybody else is dead?
I am powerless, and I'm incapable of waking them up, and reviving them, and I literally become hysterical, and I'm trying to move them, and I'm trying to make them stand, and I'm trying to get them to come back to life, and I literally become hysterical. It's the best way I can put it. I wake up crying, I wake up shaking, and the weird thing is I love to fly, and I fly for a living all the time, so I'm not afraid of that.
Have you lost people close to you in your life?
I lost my dad 4 years ago.
And how did he pass?
He actually had cancer, and it was sudden, very sudden, 6 days. So
Did you have an opportunity to talk with him before you lost him?
I did. I actually did.
And did you get to say what you wanted to say?
Yeah,
Were you with
I
him
did.
when he passed?
Yeah, I did. And I was actually the executor of the family at that point, you know, with the doctors sort of in between. So yeah, it was actually, if you're gonna go, it was a beautiful way to go, surrounded by family. So yeah.
What do you guys have to say?
Well, what I'm struck by is the car crash and plane crash dreams are so common, but your specific variation is you're not concerned about yourself in what I hear. It's the other people. You have to save other people.
Yeah.
And you just said as your dad was dying that you were sort of the executor for the family. So I wonder if you have a lot of waking life situations where either you really have to or you feel like you have to be taking all responsibility for lots of other people.
Yeah, I think there's something there. I have been the achiever in the family my whole life, known as being the achiever. And I think there's something there in making sure that I do it right, I'm in control, I'm hitting the goals. I think there might be something there, so I'm controlling, maybe.
I mean, it sounds like the falling comes from your real experience, but that quality of being concerned about everybody else, I mean, it must be very gratifying to be the achiever and caretaker in the family, but it sounds like there's something that's kind of overwhelming.
I was taking on a new job, actually. I was taking on a huge responsibility, and which would ultimately lead to where I am today in my career. So that might have been something there, that I was stepping into a role that I probably wasn't as prepared for as the hiring manager thought, but I was stepping into that as an adult, and I was still a college student, you know.
Well, if you had that sense inside that you might not be as qualified, that's a great deal of pressure to put on yourself at 19. I would work with you on the idea of the various vehicles too, because there's something significant about that, but it's not a quick answer necessarily.
Right.
But I'm wondering, you know, what would happen, because I know a real motivator, a real fuel in a lot of dream scenarios is anxiety, you know, where you feel overwhelmed in some way. And so we sometimes feel paralysis, we sometimes feel helplessness, and anxiety can be a big factor. And you know, you got into a job where you said you were kind of over your head from the beginning. You know, sometimes we can go through our whole life feeling like we're one step ahead of being found out. I'm not really as competent as everybody thinks I am. I'm not as smart as everybody thinks I am.
Right.
I'm not as good as everybody thinks I am. And I'm just one step ahead of being found out.
Right.
And if you feel like that sometimes in a dream, you could very well feel like you're falling from where you shouldn't be.
I think I have this need to always sort of do it right and fix it. When things fall apart, I'm the one that comes in and saves the day, and I've always been that person. And I think there might be something there too, that I can't save the day.
Okay. Here's a tough question, a meaningful question. Can our dreams be premonitions? Next, we're going to see if yours predict the future. We'll be right back.
Dr. Phil, when I was a kid, I used to have these dreams, premonition-type dreams, that my dad passed away. And a few years ago, it did happen, pretty close to the same way I had dreamt about it a long time ago. I have a reoccurring dream that somebody really close to me has a heart attack, and I haven't told them. Should I be afraid of it coming true because of my past premonition dreams?
Is this a vivid dream for you? It's a powerful dream?
Yes.
And you know who the person is?
It's the same person every time I have the dream.
Have you said anything to the person?
Recently, I told the person that I was worried about them. I know that they're under a tremendous amount of stress.
What other premonitions have you had that came true?
I had my very first one, and it's always when I'm away. It's never when I'm home. My very first one, when I was 9 years old, I went away with my friend's family, and I had a nightmare that my rabbit froze to death. We were in the snow. I didn't live in the snow at the time, but we were visiting, and I called my mom that night because I couldn't go back to sleep, and I said, please check on Bashful, my rabbit. And my mom put my dad on the phone, and then my dad put my brother on the phone, and my brother said, I'm sorry, Jay, but Bashful passed away. We don't know what happened. So we got an autopsy, and he actually froze that night to death. That was the first one. I had another dream that my cat got run over by a car, and sure enough, 2 days later, my cat did get run over by a car and died. I have had dream journals, and I've logged my dreams for the last over 10 years. I have boxes of dreams. I don't know why I have these dreams, and I don't know what it means.
If I was your friend and you were having this premonition about me, I would want to know it. Particularly if you really believe that you do have some premonition value to your dreams, I would want to know that, and you would feel really bad if you didn't say something and he did have a heart attack. Because when you go to him now and say, look, I need to tell you that I don't want to creep you out, but I do kind of have these dreams sometimes that come true, and I'd really, really encourage you, because I love and care about you, to go get checked up, to go get an evaluation. I think you would feel better, and he would feel better. And if he did, like, drop dead of a heart attack that could have been prevented, and he hadn't said something, then you would feel really bad.
Of course.
So that the danger of scaring him versus not seems to be trivial compared to the downside otherwise. So I would tell him. Okay, what do you think?
I agree with that. I talked to my mom about it recently and told her, and she said that she thinks it's a good idea to tell him as well.
Yeah, well, your mother's right.
Moms are always right.
So what do you guys say about this?
In the language of dreams, death is very often associated with transformation, metamorphosis. Not very many dreams are literal. So there's always a symbolic aspect, and if you can look at it logically first, rule that out, but then look at it symbolically and what could it mean? You might have picked up on a subconscious level that it was a very cold night where you were, and you worried about your rabbit. You might have, the cat might have got out one day and you had a conscious thought or subconscious thought, oh, I don't want that to happen again. He could get ran over. So we take in data from a lot of resources in our subconscious state that come out in the dream state. So the bottom line is you can't make something happen because you dreamt about it, and I want to reassure you about that.
Thank you. That was something I worried about sometimes.
No, trust me, that's highly unlikely. Okay, just real quickly, because I know a lot of people have asked about this, I want to get you guys to give us a sense of what some of the most common dreams are typically interpreted about. Unprepared for a test. What does that generally mean?
One of the most common dreams that people have, you illustrated it for us in the beginning, it means there's a mild anxiety, that I am not as prepared as I'd like to be, and I feel that I'm going to be judged or tested harshly, and it's going to have an effect on me. So but maybe the night before you meet your new future in-laws, you might have that dream because you're anxious about a result.
Partially exposed in public, where we dream about, like I had on boxer shorts.
That was a good look for you, Dr.
Yeah,
Phil.
there wasn't really. There wasn't really an audience here at the time, okay?
It usually means we don't feel prepared for something. We haven't taken all the precautions we can. But if you're naked, it can also mean that you're telling the truth. You're not covering anything up.
How about flying?
Flying dreams are some of the most popular dreams that people look forward to and love. I loved yours very, very much. It can mean that you want a perspective. You need a higher place to get a perspective on a situation, a problem, a dilemma. Or it can mean that you're trying to escape a situation, leave earthly gravity to get a little break from something.
Yeah, how many of you have had a flying dream where you were flying like that? Well, that's a fair amount of you. All right, how about falling? Because really, we all have that sense. Yeah. And sometimes we're not actually in a dream when that happens. We just think we are. But anyway, let's talk about falling.
That's true as well. That's another point. But falling can be a sense that we don't know where we stand. We don't have a firm foundation. So if you've heard a rumor that your corporation is going to merge with another and there's going to be layoffs, you might have a falling dream because you don't have a firm foundation in your life at that time.
How about this teeth falling out?
They have to do with appearance, and they have to do with communication. They have to do with being able to sink your teeth into something, meaning I have enough information to make a choice in this dilemma. So those types of things.
Yeah, I've never actually had the dream of my teeth falling out, but after we did this, I had the dream of shoe polish in my mouth. Because it was really bad. All right, guess what? Your pet's dream too. Amazing footage of a dog's nightmare caught on tape when we come back. Okay, now Marina took this video of her dog in what looks like a dream turned into a nightmare. She's on the phone. Marina, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Phil.
Hi, is this a common thing with your dog?
Yes, she's been doing this since she was born.
Okay, just all along. What kind of dog is that?
Well, she's a lab mix of some sort. We got her from the shelter, so we're not exactly sure.
Okay. Well, God bless you for rescuing a dog from a shelter, by the way. Now, you came up with a solution to protect Biscuit the next time she runs into the wall, correct?
Yes, I did.
Now, how old is the dog at this point?
Well, she's 14 now, but she's very physically fit.
Oh, wow. She certainly is. I guess because she gets a lot of exercise while she's sleeping.
She does.
Have you had the dog to the vet and had the dog evaluated?
Yes. Yes, in fact, her vet has seen all of her footage. She does this every time she falls asleep.
Really?
So she's perfectly fine. Yeah, he giggles at it just like everyone else does. So.
Well, because if this dog was 1 or 2 years old, I would be telling you that there likely is some neurological involvement here and that the dog should be checked. But if this dog is this healthy at 14 years of age, despite running into the wall, I mean, basically it's working. Thank you for sharing this with us. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you. All right, we'll be right back. Well, the dream test is on drphil.com, so you can go there and take that. We'll have more dream symbols and their meanings on the website. And I'll bet if you're having a recurring dream or something with a really clear symbol, we'll have something there that tells you a little bit more about it. And right now on our message boards, people are sharing their dreams. So find out if you've had any of the same ones. Cynthia, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Dr. Barrett, thank you for being here. Thanks to all of my guests today for sharing your dreams. See you later. Bye.